From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner. They'll receive a $10,000 grant to support their outstanding initiative as Timber Mart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
Gary, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at ArmstrongBirdFood.com.
Which Looney Dogger are you? Do you approach Tuesdays with swagger and style? You could be a Rizzy Glizzy. Maybe you're an architect stacking your Looney Dogs up high. Do you walk into the ballpark with the confidence of an MVD? Then you're the most valuable dogger. This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. No matter which Looney Dogger you are, you'll have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the ballpark. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Every Tuesday home game. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Hello, it's me, Katie Nolan, host of Casuals on the SiriusXM Podcast Network. It's a podcast for people who like sports a normal amount. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I'm joined by some of the biggest names in sports and entertainment to break down our favorite news stories from the sports world and beyond. It really doesn't matter what level of sports fandom or knowledge you have, just bring what you've got. We're all here to have fun and learn together. No judgments. You can find Casuals on the SiriusXM app, Pandora, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Love you. Mean it.
The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favourite team.
At Radio Network.
A couple updates. So, Sandlin's going to go on the IL with a right lat strain. Hopefully, timeline, he'll be down from throwing for a handful of days. Had kind of been feeling it a little bit, and just want to be proactive with him. And then we designated Jacob Barnes and called up Dylan Tate and Paxton Schultz for his Major League debut.
That was Blue Jays manager John Schneider with a rare media availability on a Sunday because of some moves that the Blue Jays have made ahead of their rubber match with the Seattle Mariners. Welcome back to Rogers Center in downtown Toronto. Appreciate you tuning in today. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. With the Blue Jays going to 12 innings yesterday, the bullpen being taxed a lot, Nick Sandlin going on the injured list. Chris, there's only that much more importance on the start now for Easton Lucas.
Yeah, and it's really easy to see why he wasn't great in his last start. The fastball command just wasn't there for me. He gave up a couple of home runs. Obviously, that's a tough Atlanta Braves lineup that he faced, a very powerful lineup. This is a very powerful lineup, too. You have to make your pitches. You have to get ahead, especially with the fastball, and then he'll be okay. In his first two starts in the major leagues, he had a ton of command with that good fastball, that 93, 94-mile-an-hour fastball. If he can do that, he'll be fine today.
We're going to get to Lucas and the lineup he has behind him and is facing in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at the Bet365 standings. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. For those who weren't feeling great after they felt like the Blue Jays maybe should have won yesterday, the New York Yankees, leading the division, blew a 4-run ninth-inning lead, so they are still one game ahead of Toronto rather than two. 13-8 are the Yankees. The Blue Jays 12-9. The Red Sox 11-10. Baltimore Orioles are 9-11, and the Rays 9-12. Seattle second in the West, 2 games back at Texas, 11-10. As the Blue Jays get out onto the field in their powder blues, Chris, who's in the lineup for Dan Wilson's Seattle Mariners?
Well, leading off for those Mariners is Dylan Moore. He's at shortstop. Batting second is Julio Rodriguez. He'll be in center field. DHing this afternoon is Cal Raleigh. He's batting third. In the cleanup spot is Randy Arozarena. He's in left field. Behind the dish is Mitch Garver. He's batting fifth. Hitting sixth is Donovan Solano. He's at first base. In right field, batting seventh is Luke Raley. Hitting eighth is Ben Williamson. He's at third base. And batting ninth is Leo Rivas. He'll be at second base this afternoon. On the mound for the Seattle Mariners is righty Luis Castillo. For the Toronto Blue Jays, leading off is Bo Bichette. He's at shortstop. Batting second is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He'll be at first base. And the DHing this afternoon, batting third is Anthony Santander. Cleaning up is Andres Jimenez. He's at second base. Batting fifth is George Springer. He's in center field. Hitting sixth is Addison Barger. He'll be in right field. Batting seventh is Will Wagner. He's at third base. Behind the dish is Tyler Heineman. He's hitting eighth. And batting ninth is Nathan Lucas. He'll be in left field this afternoon. On the mound, making his fourth career start, is Easton Lucas.
28-year-old is 2-1 with a 4.70 ERA in 15 and a third innings. Chris had talked about it a little bit. Two great starts to begin and then one really rough start. I think the Blue Jays wouldn't mind something in between, not asking for 5 shutout innings again, but if they can just have Lucas keep them in this ball game, get to 5 innings, maybe more than that, they'll be pretty happy.
Yeah, I think in an ideal world, 6 innings, 3 runs. How about that? A quality start for Easton Lucas. That would be ideal, especially if you're talking about bullpen, saving your bullpen because the Blue Jays had such a long game yesterday.
Lucas on the hill looking in at Dylan Moore. Mariners in their navy jerseys today. Gray pants. In the powder blue, Lucas kicks and deals the first pitch of the day and misses outside. Ball 1. Time of the first pitch today, 1:38 Eastern. The roof is closed. It's sunny, but a little bit chilly in downtown Toronto. It's 9 degrees. 1-0. Swing and a miss. Late offer there by Moore on a fastball to make it 1-1. For Easton Lucas, it's a four-seamer, changeup, slider, and sweeper. Here's 1-1. Hit well, left field. Going back, Lucas at the warning track, at the wall, and that ball is gone. Leadoff home run for Dylan Moore, and the Mariners jump in front on the third pitch of the game. It's 1-0.
And that was a sweeper from Easton Lucas. Not a terrible pitch, but a hittable pitch. It was right down the middle. I think that's really where he gets into trouble. He tries to be too perfect, and then he comes back with an off-speed pitch or a fastball right down the middle. That thing was just a spinner, and Dylan Moore did a good job just hammering that thing to left field.
5th home run of the season for the surging Dylan Moore, who has the trident. And here's the pitch to Julio Rodriguez. That one is crushed out to left center. Lucas going back. It's off the wall. Played on a bounce by Lucas. Rodriguez chugging for second, and he slides in there with a double. Two extra base hits for the Mariners on 4 pitches. And Andres Jimenez is going to toss the baseball away to the Blue Jay dugout as Easton Lucas tries to settle down.
And if you look at those 2 pitches, it was a sweeper right down the middle and then a 4-seam fastball right down the middle. He needs to start working the edges. Maybe mix in a changeup. Like I said, the Atlanta Braves had a powerful lineup, and this Seattle Mariners lineup is really no different.
Cal Raleigh to the plate. Switch hitter batting right, the pitch. Downstairs, ball 1. There will not be many left-on-left matchups today for the southpaw Easton Lucas. Only one will be Luke Raley, who's hitting 7th. 1-0 Seattle. No outs, runner on second. And the 1-0. Swing and a miss. Mixed in the changeup right there to even up the count.
Yeah, that's a good pitch. The changeup is really going to be key to him. That fastball command, and then throwing that changeup, mixing in that changeup, especially to guys like Cal Raleigh.
The 1-1. High. Good stop there by Heineman, leaping up to make the grab above his head. It's 2-1. Home plate umpire today is the crew chief Andy Fletcher. Brock Ballou at first, Jansen Visconti at second, and Malachi Moore at third. Rubber match of this series. Blue Jays won game 1. Mariners won yesterday. 2-1 pitch is crushed out to left field, and that ball's gone. Home run, Cal Raleigh, and you knew it just with the sound of the ball off the bat. It's 3-0 Mariners before an out's been recorded.
And really just another pitch that was kind of middle. It was a slider this time. Cal Raleigh was sitting back. He had just seen a fastball outside of the strike zone, and it was almost like he was expecting something off speed, and he got that slider right down the middle and absolutely hammered that thing to left field. First home run of the series for Cal Raleigh, who's had
His hands all over this series already, but hadn't left the yard yet. Pitch now to Randy Arozarena. Called a strike, 0-1. 3-0 for Seattle. Bases empty, nobody out, top of the first. The 0-1. Called a strike.
Two pretty good fastballs there on the inside part of the plate. That one 94 on the black. Let's see what he mixes in here. 0-2.
Lucas kicks and deals. Check swing on a pitch high. Peel down to first. No swing on appeal. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's good fastball velocity right there. 95 on that 4-seamer.
The 1-2. Fastball down and away. Make that the change, rather. 2 balls, 2 strikes. This first inning brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Armstrong Bird Food, the reason birds fly north. Feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. The kick and the 2-2. Fouled right back by Arozarena, the longtime Ray. Fastball on the outer edge. It's still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Arozarena was all over that fastball again. It was almost like he was sitting on that thing, just missed it.
Lucas nods, sets, black glove pressed up against his chest. 2-2. Outside, ball 3. Easton Lucas had said in his last start he didn't have command of his non-fastballs and just found the Braves were just disregarding them at a certain point, sitting on the fastball. 3-2. Foul tip, strike 3. Or rather, it wasn't. Dropped by Heineman. Looked like he had it when he was getting ready to tag, but slipped out of his glove, so it's still a full count. "15 pitches into the start. Lucas looking for his first out here in the first. 3-2 again. Hammered foul. Line drive pulled down the left field line into the second deck. They'll do it again at 3-2. Three 3-0 Mariners, top of the first inning. 2 home runs for Seattle in this first. Payoff pitch. Hit foul again.
He's thrown 17 pitches in this ball game. Still hasn't gotten an out yet.
Day after a 12-inning game, the Blue Jays at a minimum would like some length. 3-2 once more. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Finally got Arozarena. He chased a changeup down and away. And that's the first out of the start for Easton Lucas.
That was a really good changeup, too. It looked like a fastball out of the hand, looked like a strike, and then kind of dove away. Pretty good pitch. Arozarena way out in front of that thing.
One out and the base is empty, and the catcher Mitch Garver up for the first time here in the top of the first. The pitch. Called a strike.
Well, I said before the broadcast, John Schneider would probably be happy with 6 innings, 3 runs.
So you're just looking for 5 2/3?
He's got 5 2/3 of scoreless ball.
0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. First started the series for Garver. We've seen him as a substitute. A lot of power in that bat, although he doesn't have a home run yet this year. The 1-1. Drilled down the left field line. That's going to hook foul into the seats. 1-2.
Easton Lucas threw 87 pitches in his last start. He's at 21 already with just 1 out in the first. So I would imagine if he pitches okay in this ball game, he'll get to 100.
Next pitch up and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I mean, if I'm John Schneider, I'm letting him get to 100, at least to save that bullpen out in left field.
Starting tomorrow, the Blue Jays have 3 in Houston. Then they'll get a day off before 3 in New York. 2-2. Outside, ball 3. Reasonable guess that Chad Green and Yariel Rodriguez are not available for the Blue Jays today. 3-2. Called strike 3. Fastball on the inside edge. Back-to-back strikeouts for Lucas. 2 down.
That might have been his best pitch of the ball game so far. Fastball at 96 on the black inside. Garver doesn't like that call, but that was a perfect pitch right inside.
So after the 3 runs allowed, 2 strikeouts for Easton Lucas in the top of the first, and with 2 outs and the bases empty, Donovan Solano's up. The pitch. Hit on the ground up the middle, a base hit for Solano into left center field. He'll round first in a jog and head back to the bag. 2-out single. New baseball for Easton Lucas, and Tyler Heineman's going to go out to the mound and talk to him, so we can do an early check of the out-of-town scoreboard. Brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, 100% Canadian-owned and operated since 1992. Every Tuesday night, wings are just half price. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. You are welcome. Chicago White Sox taking on the Boston Red Sox today. They had a dramatic one yesterday, and early on today, it's the White Sox leading 2-0 for Chicago after a Max Thaiss 2-run homer, or Matt Thaiss rather, 2-run homer that came in the first inning for Chicago. Other AL East games, no score. First inning, Baltimore and Cincinnati, and the Yankees up 1-0 early on the Tampa Bay Rays. Trent Grisham hit a leadoff homer to start that game. Pitch down to Luke Raley, misses inside from Easton Lucas. Ball 1.
At first, I had no idea what that mound visit could have been about. Solano doesn't really run. You don't have to pay much attention to him, but Tyler Heineman went really slowly out there, probably just giving him a breather, throwing 26 pitches in this inning already.
Pitch 27 gets a swing and a miss. It's 1-1. Solano on first. 3-0 Mariners. Top of the first inning with 2 outs. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Raley was behind 94 there. It's 1-2.
He does have good velo today. 94, 95. We've even seen him up to 96 in this start so far. He just has to start locating a little better.
He's been hurt on 2 breaking balls for a pair of homers. 1-2. Foul tip, strike 3. 3 strikeouts for Easton Lucas in the inning, but the Mariners scored 3 on 4 hits, including a pair of home runs. Seattle leaves 1 on, leads 3-0, middle of the first. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball.
He's about as good of a strike zone controller as the Blue Jays have.
To a team of elite defenders, he is Captain Kirk, a game caller in unison with this pitcher.
Does he ever have a knowledge of the strike zone?
Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand.
Kirk's done it again.
Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Wednesday, April 30th to get your Alejandro Kirk bobble arm. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Breaking news coming in from Bet35. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Next pitch, Moniak takes off. It's low, a ball, throw down to second. They got him!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Thanks for tuning in. Bottom of the first inning, Blue Jays trailing the Mariners 3-0, and Luis Castillo is on the hill. Right-hander winds and deals to Bo Bichette. Fastball for a strike, 0-1. 32-year-old Castillo, 1-2 with a 4.22 ERA and just over 21 innings. His 0-1. Check swing, pitch high and outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. His numbers, though, a little bit inflated. He actually had a great first 3 starts to the year and then went back to his old home in Cincinnati and gave up 6 earned runs in his last start. 1-1. Swinging a liner up the middle, a base hit into left center field. Bichette jogs to first. He's got a leadoff single.
And how pretty is that swing right now? Just hammered that sinker back up the middle. Just right on that pitch. And keep in mind, Luis Castillo's got a really good fastball, a really good sinker. I think it was 95 miles an hour, and he hammered it right back up the middle.
Hard to get under that sinker like Bo Bichette just did, but that's what the Blue Jays will look to do today against the sinker, slider, and change from Castillo. He's also got a very good four-seamer in the mid to high 90s. From the stretch, his pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr., well outside and high, ball 1.
And don't sleep on that changeup either. He only throws it 11% of the time, but it's got a ton of movement on it, and it's very, very effective.
We'll probably see it a lot today because there's a lot of left-handed hitters in the Blue Jays lineup. That's when he's going to use the change most. His 1-0. Outside with the heater at 96, 2-0.
Luis Castillo, a lot of fun to watch, really animated out there. There's just a ton of movement going on, a ton going on with his body.
Long-haired righty in the set, kicks and deals. Misses outside again. 3-0 count now to Vladdy.
And if I'm Vlad, I have the green light here. There's no doubt. And I'm sure Luis Castillo knows that.
Anthony Santander waiting on deck. 3-0 for the Mariners over the Blue Jays. Runner on first, bottom of the first. The pitch. Inside, ball 4. Well, the Blue Jays are going to strike back after that big top of the first from the Mariners. This is the perfect start, a single and a walk.
It didn't seem like Vlad was planning on swinging there. It was almost like he had his bat on his shoulder. It was a fastball from Luis Castillo well off the plate inside, but it didn't seem like Vlad had any intention of swinging that baseball bat.
For Vlad, it's his 13th walk already this season to 14 strikeouts. Mitch Garver out from behind the plate, giving some signals to the defense before Anthony Santander steps up. Big switch hitting outfielder DH, bats from the left side and DHs today. Castillo's pitch. Called a strike, 0-1.
That is a good pitch. A sinker at 97 miles an hour. They're calling it a four-seamer, but that four-seamer moved.
Castillo with a breath. Looks back at second at Bichette in the pitch. Swing and a miss. Santander trying to hold up but couldn't. 0-2.
Yeah, they're trying to pound him in, trying to tie him up. He's a big guy. He doesn't want to, or you don't want him to get his arms extended.
Veteran Castillo in his 4th year with the Mariners. Rocks and delivers. Up and in. Check swing by Santander. Appeal to third. Malachi Moore says no swing. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Another tough fastball up around the hands. I mean, impossible to hit. Even if you swing at that pitch, there's no way you make contact with it.
Santander was caught in between trying to check his swing and not get hit by the pitch. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. They just stayed up and in, and he gets him with an elevated fastball for the first out.
Well, it seemed like during that at-bat, Santander was uncomfortable with that fastball in. So Luis Castillo, 32 years old, been around a long time. He sees that, and he says, why am I throwing anything else other than that heater in?
Castillo, a 3-time All-Star, twice with the Cincinnati Reds, once with the Seattle Mariners. He kicks and fires to Andres Jimenez. Swing and a ground ball to first base, picked up there by Solano, and his only play is to go to the bag. He steps on the base for the out. Both runners advance, so it's 2 in scoring position and 2 down. Castillo dealt at the 2022 deadline from Cincinnati to Seattle. Had that gem of a playoff start against the Blue Jays game 1 of the wild card series in 22, 7 1/3 scoreless innings. And also in that 2022 season signed a 5-year, $108 million contract that he's currently still on. First pitch to George Springer. He misses outside in a diving stop by Garver to keep it from the backstop, 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, Luis Castillo is still very good. He might not have the exact stuff that he's had in years past, but he's still very good. Like you mentioned, he's really only had one bad start this whole season.
Career 3.5 ERA in over 1,200 innings. His 1-0. Inside, 2-0. And in a very Jose Barrios, Chris Bassett-like fashion, he's been good pretty much every year of his career. You are hard-pressed to find a real down year from Castillo. His 2-0 is called a strike. It's 2-1.
There was that changeup. Looked exactly like a fastball.
Threw it up, though, right?
Yeah, it was up, but I mean, it's 88 miles an hour. It's almost 10 miles an hour difference than his heater. It's a really tough pitch to stay on.
His 2-1. Springer chops it third base side, foul, 2-2.
But if you are on that changeup and you think it's coming, you guess right, that's a pitch you want to square up.
Bichette on third base, Guerrero on second. They were both aboard with nobody out. Now there's 2 down. It's 3-0 Mariners, bottom of the first. 2-2 to Springer. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Castillo goes back to the change to get him, and the Blue Jays do not score on 1 hit, no errors, and they leave a pair on. 3-0 Seattle. We go to the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Carney Wilson from Wilson Phillips. 35 years ago, in the spring of 1990, we released our debut self-titled album.
Hold on for one more day.
And all this week, I'm here on Mom Jeans, reminiscing about the songs from that record and the music and pop culture from the late 80s and early 90s.
Mom Jeans. Now for a limited time on Channel 105 on most radios. And always available year-round on the SiriusXM app.
From dramatic walk-offs.
This ball is crushed into the trees. Grand slam.
To jaw-dropping web gems.
A diving catch over the shoulder by Johnson.
College softball and baseball are heating up, and you can catch the action on SiriusXM. Hear live play-by-play from the nation's top conferences and powerhouse programs all season long. Stay connected to the action on SiriusXM or streaming anytime on the SiriusXM app. For a complete schedule of games, go to SiriusXM.com/sports.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Go Hey Ohtani Connect!
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app. Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and always on the SiriusXM app.
It's the second inning presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Thanks for tuning in. At Rogers Center, it's 3-0 Mariners. And the pitch from Easton Lucas to Ben Williamson in there. Strike 1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Lucas gave up 2 home runs in the top of the first. Struck out 3, though, in the inning as well. 0-1. Down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And both of those home runs came on pitches right down the middle. So if he can work the corners, I think he's going to be much better off in this ballgame.
His 1-1. Bounce to the plate. 2 balls and a strike. Ben Williamson, the leadoff hitter this inning for the Mariners, playing third base. 5 for 20 in his rookie season. He hit his first major league home run yesterday, and it was a big one. The 2-1. High and outside, ball 3. Home run for Williamson came in the 7th inning. It was the last pitch that Jose Barrios threw in his start, and it made it 3-3. The score that it would stay until extra innings, and eventually the Mariners won it 8-4. 3-1 pitch outside, ball 4, and Lucas has walked the leadoff hitter.
Yeah, obviously not what you want to do in that situation. You just want to pound the strike zone, let Ben Williamson get the bat to the ball, but walking the leadoff guy, as we've seen so often this season and obviously in past seasons, that guy tends to come around and score more often than not.
Williamson leading off first. Lucas staring at him, deals to Leo Rivas and misses down and away, ball 1. Five balls to 1 strike so far in this top of the second inning. And Lucas facing the number 9 hitter. On deck is Dylan Moore. 1-0. Called a strike. That one maybe a little bit of a gift for Easton Lucas, too. It looked like it was about half an inch off the plate.
And keep in mind, Williamson had 19 stolen bases last year in the minor league, so he's a guy that could burn out there.
Williamson off first. Guerrero holding him on. And the pitch. Called a strike. Rivas took it right down the middle, 1-2. Venezuelan infielder Leo Rivas playing second base today. 1 for 9 on his young season with 4 walks. The 1-2. Swing and a line drive, center field, base hit. Springer charges in to pick it up on a bounce. Up to second goes Williamson, and there are 2 on with nobody out.
Well, that's not where Easton Lucas wanted that pitch. It was a good velocity on that fastball, but it was right down the middle, and Rivas does a good job just hitting it right back up the middle. You could see Tyler Heineman had that target set up above the strike zone, and Lucas just missed his spot.
Tough spot now for Easton Lucas. First and second, nobody out, and Dylan Moore back up to the plate. Top of the order hitter who led off this game with a solo home run. The pitch. High and outside, ball 1. For Moore, it was his 5th home run of the season. He's really broken out so far this year, batting .321 with an OPS after that homer of over 1,000. Left on right, the pitch. Hit foul, out of play down the right field line.
So they went changeup away for a ball, fastball in, busted him in with 95 miles an hour. I go back to a changeup, and hopefully you can get a ground ball here and get a quick double play.
Lucas looks at second, kicks and offers. High and outside with the heater, 2-1.
Yeah, they're just trying to bust him in again. It seems like Easton Lucas is having a tough time really locating in to right-handed hitters. That's why I say you throw that changeup, you get Dylan Moore out front, hopefully you get a ground ball.
The 2-1, swing and a miss. 2-2.
That was a better one there. They didn't try to come inside there. They tried to go up and away, hit his spot perfectly.
First and second, nobody out. 3-0 Mariners, top of the second inning. 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Slider at the knees. Moore stumbled across the plate as he swung. 1 out.
Yeah, that was a great pitch. You could see Tyler Heineman pointing out at Lucas with the glove. Really loved that pitch. And I tend to agree with him. Lucas with the big fist pump. Tyler Heineman pumped about that one. A huge out in this inning.
Now Lucas and the Blue Jays can dream about an inning-ending double play ball, although it's the speedy Julio Rodriguez up. He's 1 for 1 in this game with a double and a run scored. Lucas rocks and offers. First pitch in the dirt, skips through Heineman to the backstop, and both runners will advance. Williamson up to third, Rivas at second on a wild pitch.
And now I guess with that open base over there, you can be, I guess, a little bit more careful with Julio Rodriguez. Obviously, Cal Raleigh's standing on deck, but you don't have to be perfect to Rodriguez in this situation. The Blue Jays have brought the infield in.
1-0. Pitch down and away. 2 balls, no strikes. For Rodriguez, his double in the first was his second double of the season, 7th extra base hit. He's hitting below 200, 2-0. Outside 3-0. His overall numbers, though, not awful, despite the fact that he's hitting well below his career batting average because he's coming up with so many extra base hits. Second and third, 1 out. 3 balls and no strikes. The pitch home. Inside, ball 4, and that'll be a walk for Rodriguez to load the bases.
That was actually a pretty good pitch, almost exactly where Tyler Heineman was set up. It looked like it clipped the black on the inside. Tyler Heineman is having a quick conversation with Andy Fletcher back there, but regardless, that's ball 4, and here comes Cal Raleigh with the bases loaded.
Raleigh with a home run, a 2-run shot in the first inning that has the game at 3-0 right now. It was his 7th home run and 11th and 12th RBIs in the last 8 games plus 1 inning. And now he takes a pitch in the dirt, ball 1. Also his 9th home run of the year to match Tyler Soderstrom of the Athletics for the most in Major League Baseball. The 1-0. Popped up, back behind the plate, out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That is a huge strike in this at-bat. You don't want to go to 2-0 with the bases loaded to Cal Raleigh.
Three 3-0 Mariners. 1 out, top of the second. Easton Lucas with 49 pitches already in the start. And that's part of the reason the Blue Jays have the bullpen active. Long man called up today. Paxton Schultz is warming up in left field for Toronto. Lucas is 1-1. In the dirt, run-saving block by Heineman. 2 balls, 1 strike. New baseballs delivered to Andy Fletcher, the home plate umpire. Raleigh steps outside of the righty box for a moment. He's a better hitter from the left side than the right side in his career, but as we saw in the first inning, he is dangerous no matter which way he's hitting. 2-1. Hit back foul, 2-2.
Another big pitch right there. They tried to come in with that fastball, missed a little bit up, but at least he missed up out of the strike zone. Cal Raleigh just missed that thing, fouled it back for strike 2. Big pitch coming up here.
A strikeout, a pop-up, or a ball on the ground right at someone. That's what Easton Lucas is looking for with the bases loaded and 1 out. 3-0 Mariners, top of the second. The 2-2. Foul back into the netting. Elevated heater again.
Again, missed his spot a little bit. Like I said, he's having a tough time really coming in with that 4-seam fastball to right-handed hitters. Tyler Heineman was set up in off the plate. And it kind of leaked almost to the middle of the plate. He got lucky. It was elevated, and Cal Raleigh missed it.
Another 2-2. Called strike 3. Fastball bottom middle of the zone, but Raleigh must have been looking for something else. 2 down.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious with that reaction by Cal Raleigh there. That was a very hittable pitch. Usually a pitch that he barrels up, but that was Cal Raleigh expecting something else off speed, probably a changeup or a slider.
So Lucas with a chance to get out of this. No runs this inning for the Mariners. Bases loaded, 2 down, and the first pitch to Arozarena lined into left field, a base hit. In to score, Williamson. Right behind him, Leo Rivas. Throw to the plate from Lucas, not in time. It's a 2-run single for Randy Arozarena, and it's 5-0 Mariners.
That's actually a great job of hitting from Randy Arozarena. It was a pretty good changeup down below the strike zone. Arozarena was out in front, but he was able to keep the bat back and just flick those wrists. Hit a pretty good line drive into left field for 2 RBIs. That's actually a great pitch from Easton Lucas.
That almost hit the dirt, and yet Arozarena went down there to get it. 5-0 for the Mariners. 2 outs in the top of the second. First and second, Mitch Garver to the plate. Lucas looks back and offers. Pitch hit on the ground up the middle and into left center field. Coming around third, Rodriguez. He'll score. Going into third, Arozarena. Springer's throw bounces in late. And it's another RBI hit for the Mariners. It's Mitch Garver this time with the RBI single to make it 6-0.
Yeah, that was just a seeing eye single up the middle. It was a fastball down in the zone, and Garver was able to get the barrel to it and hit it up the middle.
Paxton Schultz continuing to warm up for what would be his major league debut. And John Schneider is walking out to the hill. Easton Lucas with a hand on his hip, and he hands the baseball over to John Schneider. It's going to be a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Major league debut about to come up. Paxton Schultz entering the game. But first, let's go over to today's host. Here's Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. Let's have a quick check of the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 100% Canadian owned and operated since 1992. Every Tuesday night, wings are just half price. Visit stlouiswings.com for more details. You are welcome. Hard not to start with the Stanley Cup playoffs as the NHL postseason well underway. Yesterday, we had 2 games. The Jets taking a 1-0 series lead with a 5-3 win over the Blues. Kyle Connor firing a one-timer with just about 90 seconds left in the game to break a 3-3 tie. Jets also getting an empty netter to go as well for the win. So again, they're up 1-0 in that series on St. Louis. And in Dallas last night, the Avalanche blitzed the Stars. Colorado taking a 1-0 series lead following a 5-1 win. A couple of weird goals bouncing past Jake Ottinger in that one, but either way, Nathan McKinnon and company are now up 1-0 in that series. Of course, today we have 3 games to get to. First, we have Devils and Hurricanes. Puck drop in Carolina goes just after 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific. So in about an hour's time, roughly, we'll get puck drop on Sportsnet and Sportsnet 360. Frederik Andersen will be in net for the Canes. The Battle of Ontario kicks off today in the playoffs for the first time since 2004. The Sens are in town to take on the Leafs. It's just down the street at Scotiabank Arena. That game will be on Sportsnet and the CBC. It will also be on our flagship station, Sportsnet 590 The Fan in Toronto. Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph, of course, will be on the call. Pre-game coverage will begin in Toronto at 5:30 Eastern, roughly, and post-game coverage will be handled by Leafs Talk with JD Bunkus, Sam McKee, and Justin Bourne. The guys will be on the radio, on Sportsnet Plus, and on Sportsnet's YouTube page. Of course, we do have the late game as well. Wild at Golden Knights. Puck drop of that game is at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. It'll be on Sportsnet 360 and Sportsnet as well. Busy night in Vegas as this game is at T-Mobile Arena, while WrestleMania 41 going on just down the strip at Allegiant Stadium. Blue Jays baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you, Show. The major league debut for the right-hander Paxton Schultz, 27 years old, from Utah. He comes in with 2 on and 2 out, and his pitch to Donovan Solano is outside, ball 1. 6-0 for the Seattle Mariners with runners on the corners in the top of the second. Schultz facing the veteran Solano. Righty with a breath, peeks at first and pitches home. Swing and a miss. Elevated a 92-mile-per-hour fastball to make it 1-1.
Well, this is a big spot for Schultz just because he has his job now is to just eat up innings and basically save that bullpen out in left field. He has started games in the past, 21, 22, 23. He started 62 ball games in the minor leagues. Hasn't started any games yet this season, though.
His 1-1. Fouled back, 1-2. Four-seamer, slider, cutter, changeup for Schultz. He'll throw all 4 to both sides. A 14th rounder by the Brewers in 2019 out of Utah Valley University. Pitched rookie ball in the Milwaukee system, was traded over before the 2021 minor league campaign to the Blue Jays as a player to be named later, completing a Derek Fisher deal. 1-2 pitch. in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Not a bad changeup there. A lot of downward movement to it. Donovan Solano with a good job taking that pitch.
He's been a longer reliever for the Buffalo Bison so far this year, about 9 innings and 4 appearances, a 2.08 ERA. His 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. First major league strikeout for Paxton Schultz. He punches out Donovan Solano to end the inning. The Mariners get 3 in the frame at 6-0 Seattle, middle of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart. Locally owned, proudly Canadian. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Every season, there comes a day when we forge a passion for Blue Jays baseball that is stronger than bedrock. With thousands of villagers at Rogers Center to cheer on the Blue Jays.
And Vladdy cranks it.
Dodge the creepers and block your calendar. On Saturday, May 3rd, plan to build your collection and be one of the first 15,000 fans in the ballpark to get your Blue Jays a Minecraft movie hat giveaway. Blue Jays Minecraft Day. Lights up, let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
The 0-2 pitch. Fastball, strike 3 looking.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the second in downtown Toronto. Mariners 6, Blue Jays nothing. Addison Barger leading off. The pitch from Luis Castillo is high ball 1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Castillo kicks and deals. And Barger takes outside ball 2. Joe Ali, our host today. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Tom Young and Austin Mackey, our technical directors. The 2-0. Barger hits it on the ground and past the dive of the first baseman Solano down the right field line. Addison Barger around first, heading into second with his first hit of the Major League season in 2025. It's a leadoff double.
Well, that's a good start in this ball game. It's going to be a tough hill to climb, down 6-0 to Luis Castillo, but that's a good start. Nice little double from Addison Barger to lead off this inning.
Nice for Barger, who started his Major League season 0 for 12. Gets the double and now in scoring position for Will Wagner. Castillo from the stretch looks at second and the pitch. Outside and low, ball 1. Veteran righty technically listed now as Luis M. Castillo. 1-0. Hit high in the air down the left field line, foul out of play. That's because with some injuries, the Mariners had to call up a pitcher from their minor league system to go into the rotation a couple weeks ago, Luis F. Castillo. So they had 2 Luis Castillos in the same rotation. The 1-1. Hit on the ground and through the whole left side, a base hit. Barger had to wait. He'll scoot up to third. It's a single for Wagner. And the Blue Jays, just like the first, have the first 2 runners aboard.
Well, like I said, it's a big hill to climb down 6 to Luis Castillo, but this is a great start for this Blue Jays offense. You have to score at least 1 run in this inning, if not 2. Really nice swing from Will Wagner going the other way.
Nobody out. Switch hitting catcher Tyler Heineman up to the plate. 6-0 Mariners Runners on the corners, bottom of the second. Castillo's pitch. Just a little bit low and outside. Actually looked like a perfect pitch, to be honest, but it's called a ball. 1-0.
That sinker was gross. 96 miles an hour. That was a strike. That was a great pitch from Luis M. Castillo. We don't have to say that, do we?
No. The 1-0, swing and a miss. 1-1. Dominican right-hander Castillo peaks at first and now sets at the belt. Wagner off first, Barger off third. The 1-1. Down and away. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Tell you what, Tyler Heineman looks really comfortable in that batter's box. Obviously, he's having a great start to his season, 455. But he just looks really, really comfortable in that batter's box.
10 for 22 to begin his year. The 2-1. Hit right back foul. He was all over that 96-mile-per-hour heater. 2-2. For Heineman, this is already the second most hits he's had in a major league season. 2022, he had 34 hits. He got into 62 games that year. 2-2 pitch. Poked back to the mound, off the glove of Castillo, ricochets to second. There's no play, and a run comes in to score. Addison Barger in from third. Wagner safe at second, and somehow Heineman does it again. It's an infield hit and an RBI. It's 6-1.
Well, I can almost guarantee that Tyler Heineman will take that base hit. He did everything he could to make contact with that tough pitch. And I've said this a million times. It's really hard as the pitcher not to try to glove those ground balls, but you have to know where your infield is playing. He should have let that ball go through, and it would have been an easy out.
So the Blue Jays on the board, first and second, no outs, 6-1 Mariners, bottom 2. The pitch to Nathan Lucas. Inside, ball 1.
Feels like a ball game, doesn't it?
One swing and things can change in a big way. First start for Lucas after coming off the paternity list. 1-0. Swing and a bouncing ball to shortstop. Backhanded Moore. Flips to Rivas for 1. Throw to first, not in time. A fielder's choice. And there's 1 out.
That was a really nice play. Up the middle. I thought that ball was going to get through. And the Blue Jays were going to score a run there, but that was a really nice play on a tough pitch from Luis Castillo.
It's pretty impressive. Rivas even made a throw over to first as well. He was coming across the second base bag, falling away from first. As he threw back across his body, the speed of Lucas beat him. Top of the order now for the Blue Jays. First and third, 1 out. 6-1 Mariners, bottom 2. Castillo rocks and deals. And Bichette hits it foul, 0-1. Bo Bichette with a single in the first inning. He lined a sinker to center field. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. Late on that fastball, 0-2. Wagner on third. Lucas on first with 1 out. The 0-2. Bichette drives the ball down in left field, a base hit. Wagner scores. Up to second, Lucas. RBI single, Bo Bichette. It's 6-2. We thought for a second there we might hear from our future announcer presented by Rogers, 10-year-old Juan from Whitby. However, Pete Woodworth out to the mound to talk to his pitcher right now, Luis Castillo, and another great swing, Chris, from Bo Bichette.
I mean, I said his last swing was his best swing of the season, but that one might have taken the cake there. He barreled that thing up on a tough pitch from Luis Castillo. I mean, he's seeing the ball really, really well right now. A big base hit in this ball game.
Now batting, ahora bateando, number 20.
That's our future announcer presented by Rogers, 10-year-old Juan from Whitby.
That's the one right there.
That's a really good intro from Juan. Here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr., first pitch, called a strike 0-1. He went bilingual with it. He rolled the R.
I'm really happy I stopped talking for that one.
2 on for the Blue Jays with 1 out. 6-2 Mariners in the 0-1 pitch to Vlad. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Like you said, this game can change in a hurry. 2 runners on right now, 1 out in this ball game. In this inning.
Vlad with 1 home run on the season, 10 RBIs. Awaits a 1-1. Swing and a liner down in left field. Lucas had to wait. He'll go to third. Bichette up to second, and the bases are loaded with 1 out.
Another good swing from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Hammered that ball to left field right in front of Randy Arozarena. Carlos Fables.
So Vlad with a single. He's got a hit and a walk. Bases are loaded. And Anthony Santander coming up.
Carlos Fables did a good job holding Nathan Lucas at third base. That ball was scorched to left field.
The pitch. Called strike, 0-1. One big swing could tie this ball game. Bottom of the second, 6-2 for Seattle. Santander is working on a 9-game hit streak. He's 0 for 1 today. The 0-1. Fouled off the mask of the catcher, Garver. He's all right despite the loud noise that made. It's 0-2.
That was the one right there. That was a slider. That was the mistake that Santander was looking for. It was a little spinner right down the middle. He was all over it, but he just fouled it back.
4 career grand slams for Anthony Santander, all of them in 2023 and 2024. 2 each of the last 2 seasons. He's an over 300 hitter career in bases loaded situations. Bases are loaded right now. 1 out, bottom of the second. 0-2 count. Castillo kicks and deals. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Fastball down the middle, and he got him. 2 outs.
That might have been a mistake, too. It was almost like Garver had that target up above the strike zone, and he just missed it.
So 2 down, the bases still loaded, and still an opportunity for the Blue Jays to hit their way back into it. Andres Jimenez is coming up for Toronto. After a tough week or so, we saw a bit of a breakout yesterday from Jimenez. He had 3 hits. First pitch, called a strike. Lucas on third, Bichette on second, Guerrero on first. Castillo sets, and here's the 0-1. Swinging a deep drive, right field line, hooking, foul. 0-2.
Well, that slider just got in on the hands of Andres Jimenez. He was all over it. Luis Castillo got lucky there.
Six hits already for the Blue Jays, but they trail 6-2 in the bottom of the second. Bases are loaded, 2 outs, 2 strikes. Is the count on Andres Jimenez. The pitch. Fouled off to the left.
Again, Castillo missed his spot. You could see Garver set up above the strike zone with that target. They were trying to sneak a fastball by Andres Jimenez, but it kind of leaked back over the middle of the plate.
Jimenez has 1 career grand slam. The pitch. Hit high, deep left field, racing to the corner of Arozarena, and that ball is caught on a slide by Randy Arozarena into the sidewall to end the inning. Heck of a play. Keeps it 6-2 Mariners as the Blue Jays score 2 on 5 hits in the bottom of the second. We go to the third again, 6-2 the score in favor of the visitors. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Stanley Cup playoffs are here on Sportsnet.
The wait is over.
Round 1 begins with 5 Canadian teams in the hunt for Lord Stanley.
Away we go.
The Leafs take on the Senators.
Battle of Ontario.
The Capitals versus the Canadiens.
They're on their feet in Montreal.
The Jets against the Blues.
Winnipeg, this could be the year.
The Kings versus the Oilers.
Edmonton and Los Angeles rekindled a rivalry.
Watch the Stanley Cup playoffs.
It's showtime.
Only on Sportsnet. Here for the Cup.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
It's Ernie Clement with the RBI single. 1-0 Toronto.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
6-2 Mariners, top of the third inning in Toronto. Paxton Schultz back out in his major league debut. He deals to Luke Raley, who fouls it back under our feet. 0-1. Third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Gatineau, Aylmer, and Gatineau Hull. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. 0-1 lined up the middle, and it bounces off the glove of Bichette into shallow center. Skipped right before Bo, and he played it off to his left, but it hit the edge of his glove. It's a base hit for Raley to start the inning.
Yeah, that was a near impossible play for Bo Bichette. A little short hop. Luke Raley actually hit that ball pretty hard. It was a hanging changeup from Schultz, but pretty good effort. Tough play, though, for any shortstop.
So Raley aboard. 7, 8, 9 were scheduled to hit this inning. Now the 8-hitter Ben Williamson up. A walk and a run scored. Schultz from the stretch kicks and deals. Called strike, 0-1. Paxton Schultz didn't have a ton of time in Major League spring training this season, but he did appear 4 times across 3 innings. His 0-1. High, 1 ball, 1 strike. Schultz joined the team 4 different times when they'd go on the road and play outside of Dunedin in spring. 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
It's almost a rite of passage for any young player. Hey, young buck, you're on the road this morning. Good luck.
And it wasn't the trip to Clearwater. He went to Fort Myers. He went across the state. Here's 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. In 3 batters' face, he struck out a pair to start his Major League career. 1 down.
Yeah, that was a really good sequence from Schultz. You could see how pumped Tyler Heineman was back there. A good 4-seam fastball above the strike zone, and Williamson just swings right through it. Perfect pitch.
Reached 94 on that heater. Schultz continues to work from the stretch now. His pitch to Leo Rivas. Called strike.
Biggest thing for Schultz right now is he's throwing strikes. I'm sure that's all John Schneider's worried about here.
(6-2 Mariners, 1 on, 1 out, top of the third. Right-hander with a long look in the pitch. Fouled right back, hits the top of the netting and falls into the seats off the ricochet. 0-2. Pair of pretty inexperienced players matching up right now. Schultz in his major league debut. Leo Rivas did play 43 games last year. Has 10 at-bats so far this season in the majors. So too. High and outside. Heineman really liked it. Points the glove out. Rivas laid off, though. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Good fastball there. 95 miles an hour from Schultz. He's got a pretty good arm.
His 1-2. Chop to the right side. Guerrero charges, gloves, throws to second one. Throw back to first with Schultz covering, not in time. They waved him off the bag. First base umpire Brock Ballou. I don't think that was even close to getting him, even if he was on the bag. It's a fielder's choice.
It is such a difficult play for a pitcher to run and try to find the base as he's looking at the throw from the second baseman. I mean, Schultz did an okay job of that, I guess, but it's a really, really difficult play to try to find that base.
Well, I still don't get why Brock Ballou waved off the bag.
He was
beat
safe
the
anyway.
Throw by 10 steps. There was no chance that he got him over at first. Leading off first base after the fielder's choice is Rivas, and the pitch to Dylan Moore. First is going to be a throw over to first, and Schultz nearly picked him off. A dive back in safely.
Glad was having a quick conversation with Brock Ballou over there.
Say, hey, ease off my guy in his major league debut. He had nothing to do with whether that was safe or out. Right on right, the pitch to Moore. Outside, ball 1.
It was almost like that was one of those plays where you don't even make a call because it's so obvious.
Yeah. He was way past the bat. Rivas with 2 stolen bases already. Big lead off first. And the pitch to Moore. Check swing, called strike. 1-1. Mariners 6, Blue Jays 2. Seattle scored 3 in each of the first 2 innings. The 1-1. Moore takes it for another strike, and with 2 outs here, Schultz is ahead, 1-2.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good right now, filling up that strike zone. Like I said, that's really all you can ask for in a major league debut.
Righty sets. Peaks at first. And now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So far, so good for Paxton Schultz. His 3rd strikeout in 4 outs recorded at the major league level. It's 6-2 for the Mariners. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Feel the excitement of the UEFA Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC. Europe's best clubs.
What a start for Inter! And Barca are level! Brilliant Arsenal goal!
The world's brightest stars.
Mbappe! Kane! Rafinha!
All chasing club soccer's ultimate prize.
A new page in their glorious history!
The Champions League knockout stage, where legends are made. On Sirius XM FC, channel 157 in the car, and the Sirius XM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on Sirius XM Channel 89 and every morning on the Sirius XM app.
VSiN, the sports betting network, is back on SiriusXM. Go to channel 158 for informed wagering and fantasy advice from familiar voices like Gil Alexander, Paulie Howard, and Mitch Moss. Plus, SiriusXM mainstays Adam Shine, Rich Gannon, and the guru, John Hansen. We're getting you ready for the upcoming games with a finger on the pulse of the latest news and the moving lines and odds. VSiN, the sports betting network, is now on SiriusXM 158 and on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
That Radio Network.
Bottom 3 at Rogers Center. Mariners 6, Blue Jays 2. Thanks for tuning in today. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. George Springer leading off for Toronto. The pitch from Luis Castillo. Low ball 1. Well, the Mariners have the big early lead. Castillo has been a little bit shaky to start the game. Springer was the only Blue Jay not to face him last inning. Next pitch called a strike, 1-1. Righty kicks and offers. Check swing, called strike. That pitch way off the plate outside. Springer looking back more confused than angry. It's 1-2.
I think being confused the way George Springer just looked is even worse than angry. That's like when your parents are disappointed with you. They're not angry with you.
I mean, boy, was that not a strike.
That's not a strike.
The 1-2. Swing and a deep drive. Left field. Curling back to Rosarena. Looking up at the wall. And that ball is off the base of the fence. Springer into second. He's got a leadoff double.
Another great swing from George Springer. Not a bad pitch from Luis Castillo. It was a slider that was down, but George Springer was able to get that bat to it, get the barrel to it, and hammered that pitch off the wall in left field.
The Blue Jays seem to be seeing Castillo pretty well today. That's their 7th hit already, but they trail 6-2. Looking for a game-changing hit. Here's Addison Barger. The pitch. In the dirt, ball 1.
And Luis Castillo has made some mistakes today. He even made a couple of mistakes to Anthony Santander when he struck him out. He left that slider over the middle, a spinner, then threw a fastball right down the middle that he swung through.
Righties 1-0. Down and away 2-0. You go back 1 inning. Luis Castillo fell behind 2-0 to Addison Barger before Barger ripped a ball down the right field line for his first hit in the majors this season. 2-0 offering. Down and in, ball 3.
And I would imagine that Addison Barger does not have the green light in this situation here. Obviously, Vladimir Guerrero would. Bo Bichette would. Addison Barger, I'm assuming, does not.
Springer on second, nobody out. The 3-0. Inside, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Barger. And the Blue Jays have 2 aboard with nobody out.
He really doesn't look like himself out there. Like I said, he's been making some mistakes so far in this ball game. And you don't see him walk a guy, especially a young guy like Addison Barger, on 4 straight pitches. Just super rare for Luis Castillo.
Some of those misses not very close either. And like you said, more than likely, Barger was not going to swing at that 3-0, and he still missed off the plate. First and second, nobody out. Will Wagner up. He's 1 for 1 today. The pitch. Popped up foul into the seats out of play, 0-1. Castillo has allowed the first 2 base runners to reach in each of the first 3 innings now. Blue Jays didn't punish him in the first. They scored twice on him in the second. In the third, here's the 0-1 to Will Wagner. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And that's a big run standing out at second base. It's still very early in this ball game. The Blue Jays would love to be down just 6-3 going into the 4th.
We've talked about it, how it's a used bullpen for the Blue Jays. You could say the same for the Seattle Mariners. 1-1. Hit off the end of the bat foul, bangs off the backstop and bounces toward Carlos Fablis, the third base coach. It's 1-2.
Pretty good changeup there from Luis Castillo. Like we said, he only uses that thing 11% of the time, but it has a ton of horizontal movement.
Castillo sets, glove below his belt. He kicks and deals. Swing and a fly ball foul out of play. Hit that one deep down the left field line. Did Wagner to stay alive.
Another mistake. That ball was almost right down the middle. Will Wagner just missed it. Mitch Garver had the target above the strike zone, and Luis Castillo just missed his spot.
Another 1-2. Low, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's a really good take right there on that tough slider.
Wagner with a couple half swings. Knees bent, rests the bat on his left shoulder. 2-2. Swing and a fly ball. Shallow right field. Coming in, Luke Raley. He'll make the catch. George Springer holds at second. And there's 1 out.
Will Wagner was just out in front of that changeup. It was right down the middle. And because he was out in front of it, he just hit it off the end of the bat. It hit a little weak fly ball to right field, but that could have been a game changer right there if he stayed on it.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Timbermart always has someone on deck to help you with any home improvement projects. Before you begin renovating, visit the team at Timbermart. They've got the know-how to make sure you come out swinging on your next project. Timbermart, Canada's building center. Pitch to Tyler Heineman, swing and a miss, strike one. He's Chris LaRue. I'm Ben Schulman. Show Ali, our host. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Tom Young and Austin Mackey, our technical directors. 6-2 for the Mariners over the Blue Jays. First and second, one out. Bottom of the third. And the 0-1. Swing and a miss.
Such a tough changeup. 2 in a row. Just moving all over the place.
Seems to be leaning on that changeup a little bit more now after struggling early on, going heavier fastball, breaking ball mix.
Well, he doesn't really have command of that fastball right now. So, and obviously he does have a pretty good command of the changeup so far today.
Springer on second, Barger on first. The 0-2. Just outside with a third straight change. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Heineman boosted his batting average to .478 with his infield single in the second. Knocked in the Blue Jays' first run. 1-2. Fouled back over the screen. Still ball and 2 strikes. Castillo up to 61 pitches with 1 out in the bottom of the third. He kicks and offers. And Heineman pokes it softly on the ground to short. Moore picks it up, throws over to first, not in time. Dylan Moore thought about second base, stopped his throw to second, thought about first after that. But it was a little too much thinking, and the speed of Tyler Heineman beat it out for an infield single.
Yeah, Addison Barger did a great job of getting a good jump and getting to second base really quickly. I think that caught Dylan Moore off guard. But that is a massive play in this inning so far.
Could have been a double play ball, or at least could have been an out there. And there would have been 2 down and 2 on. Instead, it's bases loaded. Only 1 out. Nathan Lucas is up.
And you can see Luis Castillo with both hands on his hat. Frustrated by that play.
A pretty stoic guy most of the time. Right-handed pitcher comes set and deals to Nathan Lucas. Inside, nearly hit him. Ball 1. Lucas with a little frustration. I wonder if he regretted jumping back out of the way of that pitch instead of taking it in the ankle potentially and scoring a run. Or maybe he was frustrated the ball almost hit him.
I don't want to get hit in the ankle, and I don't think Nathan Lucas does either, but you never know. You never know what he's thinking.
It's an RBI. 1-0. Swing and a fly ball center field. Rodriguez getting behind it in left center. Springer tagging from third. Rodriguez makes the catch. Springer advancing to the plate. The throw goes into third base, and it'll be a sacrifice fly for Nathan Lucas to make it 6-3.
Good job from Nathan Lucas there. Addison Barger thought about tagging from second to third, but Julio Rodriguez has a very good arm out there in center field. He thought better of it.
So the Blue Jays get 1 this inning. They'd love more, though. First and second, 2 outs, and the top of the order up for the 3rd time, and it's the bottom of the 3rd inning. Blue Jays even on hits with the Mariners, 8-8, but the big difference, as it's been for a lot of the time this season, 2 home runs for the Mariners, none yet for Toronto. Bo Bichette 2 for 2 today, pair of singles and an RBI. Castillo's pitch. Called strike.
Good pitch there, 97 at the bottom corner.
Maybe the best pitch of the day so far from Castillo. He's ahead 0-1. I'll look at second, now deals. Called strike, similar location at 96 miles an hour, 0-2.
That was the mistake that Bo Bichette was waiting for. It was almost like he was fooled by that mistake. They were trying to come in with the fastball. Luis Castillo threw that thing almost right down the middle.
0-2 pitch. Bouncing ball right side. Running stop Leo Rivas, the second baseman, throws over to first. and ends the inning. The Blue Jays get a run on 2 hits. They leave a pair on. It's 6-3 for the Mariners after 3 innings. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Los Angeles Lakers Governor Jeannie Buss sat down for a 3-hour discussion with Rob Perez and Antonio Daniels on SiriusXM NBA Radio.
I've never articulated this before. This is something you have to see in person. Luka does these things that you're like, where did that come from? Where did he come up with that? Teaming him with LeBron, and it's so exciting to watch.
Hear the full interview with Jeannie Buss whenever you want with the SiriusXM app. Just search NBA Radio.
Baseball is back. It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front Office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
From dramatic walk-offs.
This ball is crushed into the trees. Grand slam.
To jaw-dropping web gems.
A diving catch over the shoulder by Johnson.
College softball and baseball are heating up, and you can catch the action on SiriusXM. Hear live play-by-play from the nation's top conferences and powerhouse programs all season long. Stay connected to the action on SiriusXM or streaming anytime on the SiriusXM app. For a complete schedule of games, go to SiriusXM.com/sports.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and always on the SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's the 4th inning presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Blue Jays have made it closer once again. It's 6-3 for the Mariners over the Blue Jays as we start the 4th. And Paxton Schultz on for a 3rd inning of work. Righty pitches to Julio Rodriguez. Foul back, 0-1.
How about Paxton Schultz? Now 20 pitches in his Major League debut. And the most important thing is 15 of those pitches have been strikes.
It's led to 3 strikeouts. He allowed 1 single and got a fielder's choice. He's pitched an inning and a third so far. 27-year-old's 0-1 offering. Swing and a bouncing ball, foul, third base side, 0-2. You were talking to me in between innings about the whirlwind. You get, officially selected today. Maybe you find out last night if you're Paxton Schultz that you're going to be in the majors. You probably don't think you're going to pitch today. All of a sudden you're in the game, and then you don't know how it's going to go, and all of a sudden it's going pretty well to start. Now Julio Rodriguez asks for time, so Schultz will have an extra second to think about his 0-2.
So that's how Paxton Schultz is feeling. Imagine how his family's feeling.
Just everything doubled stress-wise. Oh-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got Rodriguez to chase a pitch in the dirt, but the throw from Heineman on the drop third strike gets away from first. Rodriguez taking off for second, and he gets in there in time. Heineman short-armed it and lobbed it over top of Guerrero. That'll be an error on the catcher, and after a strikeout by Schultz, Julio Rodriguez on second base.
I don't think Tyler Heineman planted before he threw that baseball. He threw it on the run, a little bit nonchalant. And he just airmailed that throw. That is a huge play in this ball game.
So a runner on second, nobody out now for Cal Raleigh. Schultz does get credit for the strikeout, his 4th of the outing. But it's a runner on second base. The pitch to Raleigh. Called strike.
So watching the replay, Tyler Heineman blocked that baseball with his right thumb, and he shook it out before he went. And I know I'm making excuses here, but he picked up the baseball, threw the baseball, airmailed it, and then shook out his hand again. That could have been the reason.
The 0-1. Down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike.
But how about Paxton Schultz? 4 strikeouts in this ballgame now.
Struck out at former Rookie of the Year, 2-time All-Star Julio Rodriguez. Unfortunately, Rodriguez on second base after that. But a chance to go after another big bat now as he faces Cal Raleigh. The 1-1, Rodriguez takes off on the pitch, and it's fouled off. Rodriguez didn't realize. Head first dive into third by him. He got dirty for nothing. He'll get up, walk back to second base, and the foul off makes it 1-2. Rodriguez is one of the more electrifying base runners in the game. Stole 37 bases in 2023. Had 24 last year, but just didn't get on base as much as he did the year before. Bo Bichette playing behind him, trying to hold Rodriguez on, who's jumping around at second. Schultz sets, looks back at the runner. One more peek, and now the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Paxton Schultz punches out Cal Raleigh. 5 strikeouts in 6 outs for the righty.
Unbelievable. A cutter above the strike zone. Cal Raleigh just misses that pitch. That pitch is about neck high, and you can see Tyler Heineman nodding his head. Really liked that pitch, but Paxton Schultz is unbelievable right now, really.
He's looking great through 26 pitches. He's pitched an inning and 2/3. He's punched out 5. And with 1 out now, he deals to Randy Arozarena. Called strike. Arozarena 1 for 2 today. Had an RBI single in the second to extend his on-base streak to 18 games. Coming into today, he had a .380 on-base percentage in the previous 17 games, and he had driven in 14 during the streak. 0-1. Called strike. Paxton Schultz doesn't care. He's ahead 0-2. Major league debut for the righty.
This would be a big strikeout here in this inning.
Julio Rodriguez on second after a drop third strike and error. 1 out, top of the 4th. 6-3 Mariners. Pick off to second, and Rodriguez back in with a dive.
I was just thinking that it would be smart if Schultz threw in an inside move at some point during this at bat. Julio Rodriguez is kind of jumping around out there. We already saw him try to steal third base earlier on in this inning.
Andres Jimenez now bouncing around behind Julio Rodriguez, trying to neutralize the speedy base runner. 0-2. Just outside. It's a gutsy take there from Arozarena, or maybe he was fooled. Either way, that barely missed.
Well, you have to remember there's no scouting report on Paxton Schultz, right? So these guys don't really know what his pitches are going to do, what pitches he throws in certain counts.
The 1-2. High, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
But with that being said, he still has to execute his pitches, and he is doing just that so far in this outing.
And he hasn't had a lot of time to read scouting reports either. Probably a little bit, but he got here today. Yesterday, he was reading AAA scouting reports. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Unreal.
He's punched out the last 4 batters he's faced, and in this inning alone, Rodriguez, Raleigh, and Arozarena, if not for the drop third strike, he'd already be back in the dugout.
I mean, this time yesterday, Paxton Schultz wasn't even thinking about the Seattle Mariners or being in the big leagues, and here he is, 6 strikeouts through 2 innings. It's pretty incredible.
2 down, and he'll face Mitch Garver, the 9th batter that Paxton Schultz goes up against. Runner on second, 6-3. Mariners over the Blue Jays. The pitch. Called strike.
He's on his way to 4 strikeouts in this inning.
Yeah.
How often does that happen?
Once every couple of years, maybe. Drop third strike, the reason why. Schultz sets, looks at second. Jimenez tapping his glove out there. And the 0-1. Lined right back at the pitcher. He knocks it down, picks it up with the bare hand. Throw to first is high, but Guerrero catches and lands on the bag for the out. Hopefully Paxton Schultz is all right. He took an 107-mile-per-hour liner right off of him. The Mariners are on the phone right now seeing if they want to challenge. And it looks like they will not. So another scoreless frame for Paxton Schultz, who just punched out Rodriguez, Raleigh, and Arozarena in his major league debut. We go to the bottom of the fourth, 6-3 Mariners. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Gary, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at armstrongbirdfood.com.
Which Looney Dogger are you? Do you approach Tuesdays with swagger and style? You could be a Rizzy Glizzy. Maybe you're an architect stacking your Looney Dogs up high. Do you walk into the ballpark with the confidence of an MVD? Then you're the most valuable dogger. This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. No matter which Looney Dogger you are, you'll have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the ballpark. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Every Tuesday home game. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Breaking 365 must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fastball hit to center field. Varsho with a dive, and he makes the catch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Bottom of the fourth inning, and the Blue Jays trail the Mariners 6-3. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. leading off 1 for 1 with a walk and a single. The pitch from Luis Castillo. Called strike. Coming into this game, Guerrero had really struggled against Castillo in his career. 2 for 14 with 5 strikeouts, but he's looked comfortable against him today. 0-1. Sliced foul. Back behind the plate, 0-2.
2 straight changeups to start this at bat, too. So Luis Castillo notices that he's comfortable in that batter's box, maybe against a fastball or a slider, and he's flipping in those changeups now to start this at bat.
Righty winds and offers. Guerrero fouls it away. Slider off the plate outside that he just got a piece of to stay alive. In a second, we'll go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Guerrero hitting now. Santander on deck. Andres Jimenez due up third this inning. Another 0-2. Swing and a deep drive left center field. That ball down in the gap. One hopping into the wall. Guerrero helmetless jogs into second base with a stand-up double.
The Blue Jays are all over Luis Castillo today. Another mistake from him. They were trying to go above the strike zone with another fastball, and he just left that kind of belt high, a very hittable pitch. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. smacked that thing into the gap in left center.
6th double of the season for Guerrero and the second in as many days.
What a swing.
Vladdy on second base. Blue Jays have put the leadoff runner on each of the first 4 innings. Here's Anthony Santander from the stretch. Castillo kicks and deals. Misses high, ball 1. In fact, in the first 3 innings, the Blue Jays put the first 2 aboard. So maybe that's good odds for Anthony Santander, who is 0 for 2 today with 2 strikeouts. 6-3 game, the pitch. Swing and a miss. Out in front on that slider, 1-1.
That's kind of like when the roulette screen says there's been 10 blacks in a row, and you think, oh, it's got to be a red now, right?
Hey, it's 50-50 odds at that table. Santander would take that right now. The 1-1. Fouled back into the screen, 1-2. So you get a new baseball to Luis Castillo. Quick peek at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Yankees up 3-0 on the Rays, and Max Fried a big part of it. 5 no-hit innings so far from the ace currently of the Yankee staff. 1-2 count to Santander, the pitch. Popped up back of shortstop onto the turf. Dylan Moore waves off Randy Arozarena, the left fielder, and makes the catch. 1 out.
Well, Luis Castillo's making a lot of mistakes today, leaving some pitches over the middle of the plate, but it seems that he has a very good feel for that changeup. That's the one pitch that he's been leaning on so far today that's gotten him some outs and gotten him out of some jams.
One out for Castillo after getting the pop-up from Santander. Guerrero on second, and the pitch to Andres Jimenez. Called strike. Let's go back to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard for a second. Castillo's former team, the Cincinnati Reds, beating up on the Baltimore Orioles right now. 10-1 is the score in favor of Terry Francona's Cincinnati Reds in the bottom of the fourth. The 0-1. Jimenez hits it foul to the left, 0-2. Cincinnati had a 7-run third inning, 6 of those 7 in the third coming off the starter Charlie Morton, who was out after 2 1/3, 7 earned runs. The 0-2. Foul tip held onto by Garver, strike 3, and Jimenez goes down.
Coming into today's ball game, wasn't Charlie Morton 0-4 with like an 8.5 or a 7.5 or something?
For a guy who's been really effective for a long time, it just has not worked out early on this year.
He's going through it right now.
All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Blue Jays trailing 6-3. George Springer to the plate. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on second, the pitch. Inside, ball 1. Springer with a double and a run scored in the third. Now he's trying to cash in Vlad, who had the leadoff double here in the fourth. Castillo twists and offers. Springer takes a strike at the knees. 95 driven down there to make it 1-1. Blue Jays out hitting the Mariners 9-8 in this game, but trailing 6-3 on the scoreboard. The 1-1. Just inside, actually certainly in the zone, but called inside, 2-1.
I mean, Mitch Garver obviously thought that was a strike, shaking his head right now, having a conversation with Andy Fletcher. I mean, that whole ball was in the strike zone.
Yeah,
it wasn't even a question.
It's a huge break for George Springer and the Blue Jays. 2-1 instead of 1-2, the pitch. Broken bat, weak grounder to shortstop, charging in Moore, throws on the run, pulls Solano off the bag, but he applies a tag to Springer to end the inning, and George Springer tripped up on the tag, is sitting down right now on the dirt. He fell down, and it looks like George Springer is all right. He did give a thumbs up. I think the Blue Jays are going to check on him, but that will do it for the inning either way. Leadoff double stranded on second base. No runs for the Blue Jays in the inning. They trail 6-3 as we go to the fifth. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
From new artist discovery, you look like you love me, to icons curating their very own channels.
Hey, this is Chris Stapleton.
I'm Carrie Underwood.
This is Kenny Chesney.
Just to say we did. Sirius XM is the destination for artists who live country music. The next generation. The legends.
I walk the line.
One place, multiple channels. Be country. Check out the full lineup on the Sirius XM app. Just search country.
From dramatic walk-offs.
This ball is crushed into the trees. Grand slam.
To jaw-dropping web gems.
A diving catch over the shoulder by Johnson.
College softball and baseball are heating up, and you can catch the action on Sirius XM. Hear live play-by-play from the nation's top conferences and powerhouse programs all season long. Stay connected to the action on Sirius XM or streaming anytime on the Sirius XM app. For a complete schedule of games, go to SiriusXM.com/sports.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Yo-hey, Ohtani Connect!
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's it. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app. Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and always on the Sirius XM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Fifth inning. The Blue Jays and the Mariners in Game 3 of their series. It's 6-3 Seattle as we start the top of the fifth. Donovan Solano up, and the pitch from Paxton Schultz is outside, ball one. In Schultz's Major League debut, he faces the veteran Donovan Solano for the second time. Right on right, here's the pitch. Called strike. Solano, 37 years old, a one-time Silver Slugger. In his first year with the Mariners, over from San Diego last year. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Got him out in front on the changeup. It's 1-2.
I mean, this is ridiculous.
Fourth inning of work for Schultz. He's allowed just a pair of base runners. Gave up a single in the third. Then there was a fielder's choice. And then a drop third strike in the fourth. Righties 1-2. Hit on the ground is short. Moving to his left, it's picked up by Bichette. Jump throw to first in time. 1 out.
That was a really nice changeup from Paxton Schultz. He wanted it below the strike zone. Kind of got it to the bottom of the strike zone, but Donovan Solano was still way out in front of it. Hit a weak ground ball to Bo Bichette at shortstop.
1 out and the base is empty. Infield moves to the pull for the lefty hitter, Luke Raley.
Do you think Paxton Schultz is upset that he didn't strike him out there?
I think he's doing okay. I think he's all right. Pitch to Luke Raley, called a strike, 0-1. 6 strikeouts for Schultz so far. Entered this game with 2 outs in the top of the second, pitching now in the top of the fifth. Is 0-1. Raley fouls it back into the netting. It's 0-2.
Just filling up that strike zone. 39 pitches now in the ball game for Schultz. 30 of those pitches are strikes. Just 9 balls.
Doesn't appear to be intimidated at all in his major league debut. Here's 0-2. Hit foul down the first baseline. Still 0-2.
You can see the frustration, kind of shaking his head just a little bit from Schultz. He wanted that pitch down below the strike zone. It was an 0-2 count, and he left it at the bottom of the strike zone. He's getting hungry for strikeouts, it seems like.
Right-hander sets, tan glove at his belt. And the 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got the changeup below the knees that time. 7th punch out today for Paxton Schultz.
Yeah, that's where he wanted that previous pitch. He left it in the strike zone. Obviously, him shaking his head out there, he knew exactly what he was thinking, and he comes back with it below the strike zone. A perfect pitch to get Luke Raley.
2 outs in the top of the fifth. No one on. 6-3, the Mariners lead the Blue Jays. The pitch to Ben Williamson. Swing and a miss. This fifth inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care today. Williamson 0 for 1, a walk, a run scored, and a strikeout swinging. A 1 pitch. Called strike, 0-2. Crowd back into this one after they were taken out of the game early. With 2 outs, the 0-2. Hit on the ground, left side of the infield. Moving to his left, it's picked up by Wagner. The third baseman throws over to first to end the inning. Paxton Schultz has retired the last 6 he's faced, and he's keeping the Blue Jays in it. 6-3 Seattle, middle of the fifth. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NFL Draft is coming, and the place for the latest information is SiriusXM NFL Radio.
This guy's decision-making is impressive.
Our experts will tell you what your team needs.
They've got to get better around Geno Smith.
And which players will make an impact.
Cleveland, they might already say the number one's going to be Ward, so we got to be prepared. Who do we like it to the most?
SiriusXM NFL Radio gets you ready for the NFL Draft on Channel 88 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Jack Links 500
from Talladega Superspeedway on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the SiriusXM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game. And when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have it taken. Don't suck.
Step your game up.
That has never changed. In fact, the show has never changed. We're just back home. And it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Radio Network.
Blue Jays Baseball is presented by Crown Rust Protection. Bottom of the fifth, 6-3 for the Mariners over the Blue Jays. Luis Castillo, the Seattle starter, deals to Addison Barger. Swing and a foul back headed in our direction, and it just drops below the booth. 0-1. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 0-1. Barger checks his swing. Pitch called high, certainly in the zone. Second time in as many innings that Castillo's been really hard done by. It's 1-1.
Yeah, that was a good pitch. It was almost exactly where he wanted it, too.
Next offering in the dirt, 2 balls, 1 strike. Nine hits for the Blue Jays and 3 runs scored off Luis Castillo. Mariners bullpen is active. Colin Snyder, the righty, getting loose. Castillo steps to the left, kicks and offers. And the 2-1 is fouled back. That one heading near us again, but it'll drop below the booth. 2-2. Someone caught it. According to the fan reception, a big applause. 2-2 count to start this inning. To the Blue Jays' number 6 hitter in the order today, Addison Barger. 2-2 pitch. Foul tip, strike 3. First time that Castillo gets Barger today. There's 1 down.
That's a good pitch. Exactly where he wanted it. Garver was set up high for the fastball, and he hit his spot. Addison Barger just swung right through that pitch. Beautiful pitch.
So the first time in 5 innings, Luis Castillo gets the leadoff hitter. 6-3 for the Mariners. And the right-hander offers to Will Wagner. Misses inside. Wagner spun out of the way. 1-0. In a second, we'll go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. First, the 1-0. Hit down the left field line foul. 1-1. Max Fried through 6 innings now without a hit allowed. And he's thrown 77 pitches, so maybe still in the running for a potential no-hitter for the Yankees, who lead 3-0 over the Rays. 1-1 from Castillo is hit foul to the left again by Wagner. 1-2.
What inning did you say it was in that game?
So it's the 7th now. He hasn't thrown yet in the 7th, but he's thrown 77 pitches through 6.
And you always say when you get to the 7th, you can start talking.
That's
about
when
it. It's
I
realistic.
start to feel like, maybe you're under 10 outs to go.
Yeah.
The 1-2 outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Other out-of-town scores on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Red Sox up 4-2 on the White Sox. First inning homer by Wilyer Abreu, a 3-run shot. The main reason Boston's on top. 2-2 pitch. Wagner fouls it off again. The Reds keep adding to their lead over the Orioles, now leading Baltimore 12-1. Cody Poteet, who was picked up early in the season by Baltimore, has allowed 5 runs in 2 innings after Charlie Morton allowed 7 in 2 1/3. 2-2 to Wagner is hit on the ground, backhanded at short. Dylan Moore, his throw on to first is right on the money to Donovan Solano, 2 down. For the Reds, it's been a big offensive day for everyone in that 12-1 game over Baltimore. Every single Red in the starting lineup has a hit, and everyone but Spencer Steer has an RBI. Out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. It's 6-3 in Toronto for the Mariners, and the first pitch fouled back by Tyler Heineman, 0-1. This could be it for Luis Castillo. Into the wind, here's his 95th pitch, and it's down and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Heineman, the switch inning catcher, batting left. 2 for 2, a pair of infield singles. 1-1. Line to right field. Fair ball. Base hit bouncing into the right field corner. Heineman around first, and he gets into second base with a 2-out double.
He is just a different guy. A beautiful swing on that fastball, that four-seam fastball in the inner third, and he rips it down the first base line. It's pretty cool what he's doing so far early in this season.
Third hit today for Tyler Heineman. That's his 3rd double of the season. He's now hitting above 500, 13 for 25. Obviously very limited sample, but still incredibly impressive. 2 outs, he's on second. The pitch to Nathan Lucas. Inside, nearly hit him. Ball 1. I'd have to guess this is the last batter for Castillo.
Yeah,
Top of the order coming up next.
This is definitely the last batter. Bo Bichette's been all over Luis Castillo today.
1-0 to Nathan Lucas. Outside, 2 balls, no strikes. .98 pitches for Luis Castillo. He's allowed 3 runs, and frankly, it could have been a whole lot more, giving up 10 hits so far in 4 2/3. 2-0 pitch. Fouled back, 2-1.
Yeah, he stranded 8 guys already, and we're in the bottom of the 5th inning. And a lot of those guys were on base with less than 2 outs as well.
(6-3) Mariners. Runner on second, 2 down. Castillo's 2-1. Fouled off, 2-2. That was a 4-seam fastball down and in. Lucas dipped the shoulder as he reached inside for that pitch off the plate. Left-handed hitter taps the plate twice, twirls around the bat, brings it above his left shoulder. 2-2. Just outside, ball 3.
Really nice take. Luis Castillo wanted that pitch. You could tell the frustration out there on the mound. A little bit out of the strike zone, though.
101 pitches for the right-handed starter for Seattle. His 3-2. Popped up, back of second base. Leo Rivas onto the right field turf, makes the catch, and ends the inning. No runs on a hit, 1 left for the Blue Jays. We go to the 6th inning. It's 6-3 Seattle. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
Barry, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at armstrongbirdfood.com.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Find your location at timbermart.ca.
Law & Order Thursday on City TV.
We're charging him with manslaughter.
3 Law & Orders on one epic night.
It was premeditated. It was planned.
Law & Order at 8.
He told me to is not a legal defense against murder.
SVU at 9.
Covering his ass, I'd start thinking about your own.
Followed by the new season of Law & Order Toronto Criminal Intent at 10.
Nothing justifies murder. How about we start with the truth?
Law & Order Thursday, all new, 8/7 Central on City TV.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
They got him. A strike him out, throw him out, double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's the 6th inning brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care today. Paxton Schultz back on the hill for the Blue Jays. 6-3 Mariners over Toronto. And the pitch to Leo Rivas. Called a strike. Schultz has thrown only 45 pitches now as he just let go of his first one in the 6th. He first entered this ball game in the 2nd. His 0-1. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And 10 first pitch strikes. As a reliever, as a starter, as a pitcher in general, that's always what you want to do. You want to throw strike one to any batter, and he's doing exactly that this afternoon.
10 for 12. 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This is a season high in pitches thrown for Schultz between minors and majors this year. Most he threw with Buffalo was 44. But he should be pretty fresh. Hasn't pitched since the 15th. Here's 1-2. Foul back into the netting, and they'll do it again at a ball and 2 strikes.
That fastball is still pretty good, though. 94 miles an hour with that 4-seamer.
Last year, he went up to as many as 69 pitches in a game. There is no movement down in the pen in left field, so it looks like they're going to stick with Schultz at least for a little bit longer. Another 1-2. Hit foul off to the left.
Well, like I mentioned when he came into the ball game, between 21 and 23, he had 62 starts in the minor leagues. So he's a guy that understands length and knows how to pitch multiple innings. But, I mean, he's looked great so far.
A shrug of the shoulders and his pitch. Hit on the ground left side. Dive by Wagner. It's past him into left field for a base hit. Rivas around first. He'll stop there. He's got his 2nd hit today.
I'm sure Schultz wants that pitch back. It was a cutter in a 1-2 count. Left it right over the middle of the plate. And Rivas did a good job just staying on it and drilling it the other way.
Second base hit that Schultz has allowed so far. Up to 50 pitches right now, and it's still 6-3 for the Mariners with a runner on first. Nobody out. Top of the 6th, the pitch to Dylan Moore is swung on and missed, strike 1. Three and a third innings so far for Paxton Schultz. He's seeing the top of the order for a 2nd time. Step off and throw over to first, and a dive back safe by Rivas. He was in quick enough. Guerrero never applied a tag.
Rivas does have a couple of stolen bases this year, so you got to pay attention to him over there.
The 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Schultz looking over at first base. Now comes set. as action begins in the Toronto bullpen. Right-handers 1-1. Swinging a deep drive center field. Springer going back at the warning track near the wall, makes the catch. He was maybe 2-3 feet in front of the fence in left center, but he makes the play. Rivas retreats to first, and that's a long, loud first out of the inning.
Well, Dylan Moore was all over that four-seam fastball. I think he might have got it off the end of the bat just a little bit. George Springer catches that ball right up against that fence in center field, but it's a big out in this inning.
1 out and a runner on first. Julio Rodriguez up to the plate. Schultz struck him out in the fourth. Another check on the runner on first to Rivas, and he dives back in safe.
This is probably a good time for Rivas to try to steal second base with 1 out in this inning.
You'd guess a lot of attention for Schultz is going to be directed at the hitter Julio Rodriguez. Schultz steals home, and Rodriguez foul tips it. Strike one. Outside of that strikeout, a walk and a double for Julio Rodriguez today. He's scored twice. The 0-1. Up and in, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Julio Rodriguez didn't like that pitch. It was a four-seamer. Kind of ran in on him almost near his chest. He was staring out at Schultz for a brief second, but that's a good pitch, showing that you can go inside, especially to a hitter like Julio Rodriguez.
The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Got him to offer at the elevated fastball, 1-2.
Well, that's what happens when you come inside. It opens up the outside part of the plate because now that hitter, Julio Rodriguez, has to respect that you're going to throw the ball inside to him.
Schultz kicks and fires. Swing and a grounder to third. Wagner picks it up. Throws to second for 1. Jimenez to first. Not in time. The speedy Rodriguez legs out a fielder's choice, but there are 2 down.
It's a nice change up there. I think that's his best pitch, at least so far today. Paxton Schultz has really thrown a lot of strikes with that fastball, but the strikeout pitch for him so far today has been that changeup. It has a lot of movement.
2 down, and Cal Raleigh up to the plate. 2-run homer in the first, a pair of strikeouts since. 1 against Easton Lucas, 1 against Paxton Schultz. The pitch. Hit back foul, 0-1. So Cal Raleigh, that home run today, his 10th against the Blue Jays in his career. He's played just over 20 games against Toronto. Only team he's hit more homers against in his career is the Athletics. He's hit 12 homers against them, but he's played them about 50 times in his career. Step off throw to first. Rodriguez back in standing up. And I'm not including Cal Raleigh's playoff home run against the Blue Jays. This is just regular season. Wave going around Rogers Center. 2 down, runner on first. And the 0-1. Swing and a miss by Raleigh, 0-2.
Would you have guessed that Tyler Soderstrom, Cal Raleigh, and Mike Trout would have been the top 3 home run hitters so far this season?
I would have guessed Mike Trout maybe, but that's where it would have
I wouldn't even have guessed Mike Trout.
Maybe. If he was healthy enough. Raleigh is the best power hitting catcher in baseball, but even still, the fact that he has 9 home runs right now is hugely impressive. 2 down in the 0-2. Drilled foul right side, a hooking liner that bounces off a fan and into the seats.
Cal Raleigh was all over that four-seamer from Schultz. He was just out in front of it.
Hopefully the fan all right there down the right field line as some people go to check on them. 2 down, a runner on first. 6-3 Mariners, the pitch. Check swing on a pitch in the dirt. Appeal down to third. He did not go. According to Malachi Moore, it's 1-2.
Well, you could hear Tyler Heineman saying something, probably, yep, asking for that strike 3 call, but yeah, he did go. We just got that side view, that slow motion side view. I think that was a strike. John Schneider's not happy about it.
Extra life for Cal Raleigh. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Rodriguez on first. Schultz rocks and offers. And that ball is hit into the 500 level foul, way off to the right side.
I'm sure those people didn't think they were getting a foul ball today.
They might have not thought they were going to get one all season. That's halfway up the section, down the right field line in the 500 level. Another 1-2. Low, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's a good pitch, a good take from Cal Raleigh all the way around.
Dylan Tate warming up for the Blue Jays. Paxton Schultz up to 62 pitches. His 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 8 Ks for Paxton Schultz in his major league debut. And the Blue Jays still hanging around. 6-3 in favor of the Mariners. Middle of the 6th inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The temperature is rising. The flowers are blooming. And Happy Radio is here to make your days even brighter. Playing nothing but feel-good hits to put a pep in your step. Listen to our collection of Happy Radio channels anytime at home with the SiriusXM app on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices.
It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the SiriusXM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable. Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favorite club.
Your home for golf's biggest events is PGA Tour Radio.
It's a Grand Slam roar at Augusta National. Rory McIlroy, he's the 6th in the history of the game to enter golf's greatest group.
Deep down, I always believed that I had the game to win here at Augusta. You know, it was touch and go at times today, but thankfully I was able to get the job done.
PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
You want baseball? The doggy has you covered. Tune in to Mad Dog Unleashed for the best baseball coverage anywhere. Weekdays 3 to 6 Eastern. SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
Bottom of the 6th inning in downtown Toronto. Mariners 6, Blue Jays 3. Pitching change for Seattle, brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. For the second straight day, the Blue Jays will see righty Colin Snyder. He's on to end the day of Luis Castillo, who danced around a lot of trouble in 5 innings, but leaves in line for the win. 6-3 Mariners. Top of the order for the Blue Jays. Snyder's pitch to Bo Bichette is popped up right side of the infield. First baseman Solano camped under it, called off by the second baseman Rivas. 1 out.
That was kind of a weird one. You could see the look on Solano's face, like, why are you calling me off? He was camped underneath that pop-up, and Rivas came over, called him off. That was a strange one.
Mariners get the out either way. There's 1 down. And in between innings, a lot of handshakes for Paxton Schultz. It looks like his day is potentially done. What a major league debut it is. The pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. outside, ball 1. Schultz today 4 1/3, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts. 1-0 to Guerrero. Popped up right side of the infield. Donovan Solano in on the turf. No one's going to wave him off this time. He makes the catch near the mound. 2 down.
Paxton Schultz threw 64 pitches, 50 strikes. I mean, like I said when he came into the ball game, if you're John Schneider, you're just hoping that he fills up the strike zone. And he did exactly that. 8 strikeouts, 0 walks. I mean, it's hard-pressed to think that it gets any better than that.
He's kept the Blue Jays in it. 6-3 for the Mariners. 2 outs, spaces empty, bottom 6. The pitch to Anthony Santander is hit foul through the legs of Garver and the home plate umpire Andy Fletcher. It's 0-1. It's quickly go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Max Fried is through 7 with no hits allowed. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts for Fried on 92 pitches. Yankees leading 3-0 over the Rays. 0-1 to Santander. Hit on the ground to second base. Picked up off to his left by Rivas. Throw to first in time to end a 1-2-3 inning. All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. The Blue Jays down 6-3 after 6. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Gary, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at armstrongbirdfood.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Eighth punch out for Easton Lucas
on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 7th inning in a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Dylan Tate is in the ballgame, making his 2025 season debut. Longtime Oriole, pitching in a second Major League season for the Blue Jays. Tate winds and offers to Randy Arozarena. Swing and a bouncing ball, foul, 0-1. Mariners 6, Blue Jays 3. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Right-hander Tate kicks and offers. Slider for a strike. Got a huge break there on a pitch that looked outside, 0-2. Arozarena, Garver, Solano hitting this inning. Tate's 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him to chase the sweeper outside, and a strikeout for Dylan Tate. 1 down.
And Arozarena definitely should not have offered at that pitch. That was a ball out of the hands. I mean, it was a slider that moved a lot, but that's a ball out of the hands, and I'm sure Arozarena's thinking that walking back to the dugout right now.
For Dylan Tate, the mix is sinker, sweeper, changeup. His pitch to Mitch Garver. Called strike, sinker at 93 in there, 0-1.
That's a sinker that moves a lot, too. 93 miles an hour with that downward action.
0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Blue Jays agreed to terms on a major league deal with Tate in the middle, probably more towards the end of spring training. So he was a little bit behind out of the gates. Went to Buffalo to start the year and made a handful of appearances there. 0-2. Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He performed pretty well in Buffalo. 1.5 ERA, 5 games, 6 innings, 6 hits, just 1 earned run.
He told me today, pitching in the Buffalo cold was not fun. 1-2. Hit foul, still 1-2. He said you have to do it. It's part of the job. But when I mentioned the roof here, his quote was, "Thank God."
Well, he's from Southern California, man. Come on. Went to UC Santa Barbara. You ever been there?
1-2. Inside 2-2. I have not.
Santa Barbara. You need to go there.
All right. I'll put it on the bucket list. 1 out, top of the 7th. 6-3 Mariners over Blue Jays. 2-2 count to Mitch Garver. Tate's pitch. Hit foul. Garver bounced it off his own leg. Still 2-2. Tate pitched with the Orioles from 2019 to 2024, save for 2023 when he missed the year with injury. 2-2. Hit off the handle, a pop-up into shallow right center field. Barger charging in. Jimenez going out, and it's off the glove of Jimenez and down on the turf. It looked like Jimenez kind of pulled away at the last moment, but didn't fully get out of the way as Barger was sliding in behind him. And it deflected off Andres Jimenez and down onto the turf.
And that's one of those scary plays where all three fielders are converging. And you could see Andres Jimenez waving them off, but he probably felt Addison Barger coming on at the last moment and kind of shied away, got out of the way, and that's just a tough play.
The only confusing thing is that Jimenez ran away, but then reached his glove back out and deflected the ball from over top of Barger. I mean, maybe he doesn't know it's there, but there's a chance had he gotten out of the way that Barger makes that catch.
Yeah, well, Addison Barger was waving everybody off with his throwing arm. Addison Barger was yelling, I got it, and that's not a fun situation to be in if you're those guys.
So that ball landing means a base hit, an awkward one for Mitch Garver, and now a pinch hitter for the Mariners. They've removed Donovan Solano, who was in because the Blue Jays had a lefty starter. They'll bring in the left-handed hitter, Rowdy Tles. Tles with home runs in each of the first 2 games of the series. That included the grand slam yesterday in extra innings that put the game out of question in the 8-4 win for Seattle. Tate from the stretch, the pitch. Outside, ball 1. Tles entered the series with 1 home run. He's got 3 on the year now. 1-0 pitch. Really in the zone, but called a ball. This has been, for both teams, a tiny zone most of the game. It's 2-0.
Yeah, Dylan Tate was staring in at Andy Fletcher. I don't think he said anything, but he was staring in at him, letting him know that was a strike.
Now behind 2 balls, no strikes. Tate kicks and deals, and Tles rocks a ball out to right field and gone. 3rd home run in as many games for Rowdy Tles, who's on a roll and was aided as well by a complete missed call that made it a 2-0 count.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge call because you have to throw something in the strike zone. And Rowdy Tles, again, a lot like last night, he knows that. He knows that Dylan Tate wants to throw a strike in that situation, and he was just sitting on it. But it's pretty incredible. 3 homers in 3 ball games for Rowdy Tles now.
Off to a really slow start to the season. He has put that behind him, and this is why the Mariners brought him in. They were looking for more power. He has provided it here in Toronto. First runs for Seattle since the 2nd inning. It's now 8-3 for the Mariners with 1 out. The pitch to Luke Raley, and it hits him, and Raley is aboard. Changeup slipped down to the hand of Dylan Tate. So Raley down to first with 1 out. This 7th inning is brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. First pitch to Ben Williamson, called a strike, 0-1. Williamson 0 for 2, a walk, a run scored. The pitch called a strike. No balls and 2 strikes. Tate sets, kicks, delivers, and it's a swing and a miss, strike 3. Ben Williamson goes down, 2 outs.
That's actually a really nice sweeper. His best one of the day so far. Looked like a strike on the outside part of the plate, and then just darted left.
8-3 Mariners, 2 outs, top of the 7th inning. Leo Rivas up to the plate. The pitch. Check swing, called strike by the switch hitter batting left, 0-1.
Rowdy Tles in that dugout right now with a huge smile on his face. Obviously, he's feeling good.
Homers on 3 consecutive days. 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Tate peeking over at first. Now comes set. Glove at his belt. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
Pretty good changeup right there. A lot of downward action to it. Rivas just swinging over the top of it.
Rivas asks for time. Granted by Andy Fletcher. He'll adjust his batting gloves. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs and a runner on first. 8-3 Mariners, top of the 7th. Tate rocks and offers. And the pitch is low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tate set again. Shrug of the shoulders, 2-2. High and outside, ball 3. Dylan Tate, former 4th overall pick by the Texas Rangers. Friends in the minor leagues with Eric Swanson. 3-2 pitch. Hit back foul. Runner will be off on the pitch. Another 3-2. Called strike 3. Backdoor sweeper gets him. Dylan Tate with 3 strikeouts in the inning, but 2 hits allowed, including the 3rd home run of the series by Rowdy Tles. A 2-run shot that makes it 8-3 Mariners at the 7th inning stretch. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
The Stanley Cup playoffs are here on Sportsnet.
The wait is over.
Round 1 begins with 5 Canadian teams in the hunt for Lord Stanley.
Away we go.
The Leafs take on the Senators.
Battle of Ontario.
The Capitals versus the Canadiens.
They're on their feet in Montreal.
The Jets against the Blues.
Winnipeg, this could be the year.
The Kings versus the Oilers.
Edmonton and Los Angeles rekindled a rivalry.
Watch the Stanley Cup playoffs.
It's showtime.
Only on Sportsnet. Here for the Cup.
Guess who just bundled their home and auto with Desjardins Insurance?
Well, look at you, all grown up and saving money.
Yes, I am.
Mom told you to do it, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Get insurance that's really big on care. Switch and you could save up to 35% on home insurance when you bundle home and auto. Desjardins Insurance. Here for your home, auto, life, and business needs. Certain conditions apply.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fastball cracked to center field. To the wall, to the track. It's gone.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. Bottom of the 7th inning, the Blue Jays and the Mariners in the rubber match in Seattle, leading 8-3. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. It's a new pitcher for the Mariners. Left-hander Gabe Spire is into the game. Spire faces off left on left with Andres Jimenez to start the inning. Jimenez 0 for 3. Southpaw's pitch. And he hit him. First pitch fastball caught the side of Andres Jimenez, who will walk down to first base. For Gabe Spire, this is his 10th appearance of the year. No runs allowed in 8 innings on 4 hits. 1 walk. He's struck out 9.
That's pretty impressive. 9 strikeouts, just 1 walk.
Spire, parts of 4 seasons with Kansas City, now in his 3rd year with the Mariners. His pitch, George Springer hits it foul, 0-1. Name might sound familiar to some people listening. He is the nephew of the former Expos Hall of Famer Chris Spire, 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Expos Hall of Fame, not National Baseball Hall of Fame, but still very good Expo Chris Spire, and cousin of a former Blue Jay, Justin Spire. 1-1. Hit foul back into the netting by Springer, 1-2.
Spire's got a pretty good arm, 95 miles an hour with that fastball from the left side.
His 1-2. Way upstairs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. The lefty really broke out in 2023. 69 appearances with the Mariners. He had a 3.79 ERA. But last year he was on the injured list. Hurt his rotator cuff. Moved a lot between AAA and the majors and struggled at the major league level. His 2-2 is well upstairs again, ball 3.
And he always has a pretty good strikeout rate. 64 strikeouts in 54 innings in 2023. 33 strikeouts in 23 innings last year. So you can just look at those numbers and guess that he has pretty good stuff.
Hit Andres Jimenez to start the inning. Now a full count with George Springer. His pitch. Outside, ball 4.
Good start to this inning. Good at bat from George Springer.
Blue Jays need base runners, trailing 8-3 to the Seattle Mariners. Bottom of the 7th inning. And it's going to be a substitution here for Toronto. Addison Barger out of the game. They bring in a right-handed hitter in Miles Straw to match up with the southpaw Gabe Spire. Barger's day ends 1 for 2, a double, a run scored, and a walk. First pitch to Straw on the outside edge, strike 1.
Rowdy Tles is way in on the grass. He's kind of moving back now, but it was almost like he was expecting Miles Straw to bunt, and I'm pretty sure he's not going to bunt in this situation.
0-1. Hit back foul, 0-2. Down by 1, down by 2, maybe even down by 3. You'd think about it. You're not going to give up outs down by 5.
No. There's 0% chance that he bunts in this situation, but Rowdy Tles is way back now, but that first pitch, he was about 10 feet in on the grass.
0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 95 elevated beats him for the first out. Tles has remained in after the pinch hit homer that he hit in the 7th inning, which really changed the ball game. It was 6-3 for a while. Now it's 8-3. But the Blue Jays have 2 on. They'll bring in another player off the bench, removing the left-handed hitter Will Wagner for the righty swinger Ernie Clement. Clement with 3 hits yesterday. The pitch. Hit on the ground off the glove of the pitcher Spire. It dies in the middle of the turf. Throw on to first by Moore, and the shortstop gets Clement. Ernie Clement out at first, and a really nice play from Moore. That ball got almost stopped entirely in between the mound and second base. Moore charged in. The Blue Jays are looking at it, and they will not challenge.
Well, I'm pretty sure if Spire doesn't touch that baseball, that's an easy double play. Dylan Moore was probably going to field that ball relatively easily and get George Springer at second base, but nice play nonetheless.
So 2 down, 2nd and 3rd. And Tyler Heineman is up to the plate for the Blue Jays. The switch hitter will bat right. First pitch, check swing pitch was low, appeal to first, and he did go 0-1.
How about Tyler Heineman? 3 for 3 today, now hitting .520 on this young season.
Got a little fortunate on the first 2 hits, both infield hits, but not on the last one, a double down the right field line.
I don't think Tyler Heineman cares.
0-1. Fouled back 0-2. Wasn't why I was saying it, so. Heineman 3 for 3, though, like Chris mentioned. Another hit would do a lot for the Blue Jays. It's another inning where they put the first 2 on, but are in danger of not scoring, or at least not scoring as many as they could have. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. After the hit, batter, and the walk, Spire settles down. 2 strikeouts and a ground out to end the inning. 2 left on for the Blue Jays. We go to the 8th, 8-3 for the Mariners. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hello, it's me, Katie Nolan, host of Casuals on the SiriusXM Podcast Network. It's a podcast for people who like sports a normal amount. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I'm joined by some of the biggest names in sports and entertainment to break down our favorite news stories from the sports world and beyond. It really doesn't matter what level of sports fandom or knowledge you have, just bring what you've got. We're all here to have fun and learn together. No judgments. You can find Casuals on the SiriusXM app, Pandora, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Love you. Mean it.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
In a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
VEASAN, the sports betting network, is back on SiriusXM. Go to channel 158 for informed wagering and fantasy advice from familiar voices like Gil Alexander, Paulie Howard, and Mitch Moss. Plus, SiriusXM mainstays Adam Shine, Rich Gannon, and the guru, John Hansen. We're getting you ready for the upcoming games with a finger on the pulse of the latest news and the moving lines and odds. VEASAN, the sports betting network, is now on SiriusXM 158 and on the SiriusXM app.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 8th at Rogers Center, and the Blue Jays trailing the Mariners 8-3. Thanks for tuning in today. Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue. Dylan Tate deals to Dylan Moore and lands one in the zone. Strike 1. Top of the order for the Mariners, Moore, Rodriguez, Raleigh. The 0-1. Swing and a liner down in left field for a base hit. Cut off near the corner by Lucas, who gets it back in quickly to limit Moore to a leadoff single.
Well, Moore, who already has a home run in this ball game, has been seeing the baseball really well this season. Before that at bat, he's hitting .304 with 5 homers, and that swing right there was a pretty one. Hammered that baseball to left field.
12th hit of the day for the Mariners to 10 for the Blue Jays. But the score a lot wider than that hit margin would suggest. 8-3 for Seattle. Pitch to Julio Rodriguez. Low ball 1. I don't mean to belabor the point, but the most important stat for me in the game is 3 home runs for the Mariners, 0 for the Blue Jays. 1-0 pitch. Called strike, 1-1.
And I don't mean to say this again either. I've said it a bunch this season. It's really difficult to string together a bunch of base hits, especially against guys like Luis Castillo and a lot of pitchers in this league. You have to be able to get the big home run.
1-1. Inside, 2-1.
And obviously the Atlanta Braves are good at that, who they just saw. The Seattle Mariners have been good at that. They've hit a bunch of home runs. Like you said, 3 home runs already in this ball game.
2-1 pitch. Hit foul, 2-2. Blue Jays have not hit a home run in this series. They had one other series earlier this year where they went homerless. That was at New York. fairness, in that series, it was freezing temperatures. 2-2 is popped up by Rodriguez to the second baseman, Andres Jimenez. He'll make the catch on the dirt. There's one out. Let's go over to the Bet365 standings. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Yankees entered today 13-8, leading the division. Blue Jays 12-9 in second. Boston's 11-10 in third. Baltimore 9-11 in fourth. And the Tampa Bay Rays 9-12 in fifth. John Schneider out to the mound, takes the ball from Dylan Tate with one out and one on in the top of the eighth. 8-3 Mariners. Let's go over to today's host, Show Ali.
Thanks very much, Ben. Let's check in on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. We'll start with the Stanley Cup playoffs. The NHL postseason well underway. We had two games yesterday. The Jets and Avalanche both taking a 1-0 series lead in the two games from last night. Today we have three games to get to. So first we have Devils at Hurricanes going on right now. End of the first period. You can watch that game on Sportsnet and Sportsnet 360. The Hurricanes enjoying a 1-0 lead. Jalen Chatfield, the lone scorer in that one. A little bit later on, in about just over 3 hours from now, the Battle of Ontario kicks off today. In the playoffs for the first time since 2004, the Sens are in town to take on the Leafs just down the street at Scotiabank Arena. That game will be on Sportsnet and the CBC. It will also be in our flagship station, Sportsnet 590 The Fan in Toronto. Joe Bone and Jim Ralph will be the call. Pre-game coverage will begin on The Fan in Toronto, roughly around 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Post-game coverage will be handled by Leafs Talk. Bunkus, McKee, and Bourne will be on the radio, Sportsnet Plus, and Sportsnet's YouTube page. We do have the late game as well. Wild at Golden Knights. Puck drop of that game will go 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. It'll be on Sportsnet 360 and Sportsnet. Busy night in Vegas as well. This game's at T-Mobile Arena, and just down the strip, WrestleMania 41 continues for the final night tonight at Allegiant Stadium. Over in the NBA, the playoffs are in full swing as well. 4 games yesterday. The Pacers, Nuggets, Knicks, and Timberwolves all took 1-0 series leads. And today, we have 4 more games on the schedule. The first game already in the books. The Oklahoma City Thunder absolutely waxing the Memphis Grizzlies. 131-80 was the final score as OKC takes a 1-0 series lead. The Boston Celtics leading the Magic right now in Game 1, 26-18. Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you. Show new pitcher for the Blue Jays. Pitch and change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Mason Fluharty, the lefty, in his pitch to Cal Raleigh is hit high and deep and way foul. Left field line 0-1. 8-3 Mariners. 1 out and a runner on first base, Dylan Moore. Mason Fluharty, the lefty, pitching for the second time in this series. 7 appearances this year, 5 in the third innings, 2 earned runs for a 3.38 ERA. His 0-1. High, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Mason Fluharty's looked pretty solid this season. We've seen him come into pretty much almost every situation he's come into has been a higher leverage situation. So I'm interested to see how he pitches and pounds the strike zone down 8-3.
He kicks and deals. And Raleigh takes it outside and high, ball 2. Raleigh back hitting from the right side where he hit his home run in the first. 3 strikeouts since then. Step and throw over to first base. Moore dives back in. Fluharty set at the belt. A look at first. One more peek. And the 2-1. Popped up foul out of play. 2-2.
It's a good pitch right there. A cutter that kind of got in on the hands of Cal Raleigh. It was right down the middle, but had a little bit of movement right at the end.
Couple underhanded swings from Cal Raleigh. Now brings the bat above his shoulder. 2-2. Checked his swing on a pitch high. That was the sweeper. Ball 3. It's a full count. Raleigh adjusting his batting gloves, asks for time. The leader of this Mariner offense. Full count, 1 out, runner on first. Raleigh in the box. Fluharty's pitch. Moore takes off. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Throw down to second. And he got him. Strike him out. Throw him out. Double play. Fluharty gets Raleigh. Heineman ends up getting Moore. And some words from Heineman and Raleigh back and forth as the inning comes to a close. No runs on a hit. Nobody left in the top of the 8th inning. It's 8-3 for the Mariners over the Blue Jays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball.
He's about as good of a strike zone controller as the Blue Jays have.
To a team of elite defenders, he is Captain Kirk, a game caller in unison with this pitcher.
Does he ever have a knowledge of the strike zone?
Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand.
Kirk's done it again.
Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Wednesday, April 30th to get your Alejandro Kirk bobble arm. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Prime Minister Stephen Harper.
I led Canada through the global financial crisis. Today, we also face big challenges. The two men running to lead us both once worked for me, and my choice unequivocally is Pierre Poilievre. Only Pierre is putting forward an actual plan to make life affordable, make our streets safer, and put us in a strong position in dealing with the U.S. Only Pierre will bring change. Please join with me in voting Conservative.
Authorized by the Chief Agent of the Conservative Party of Canada.
Law & Order Thursday on City TV.
We're charging him with manslaughter.
3 Law & Orders on one epic night.
It was premeditated. It was planned.
Law & Order at 8.
He told me to is not a legal defense against murder.
SVU at 9.
Covering his ass, I'd start thinking about your own.
Followed by the new season of Law & Order Toronto Criminal Intent at 10.
Nothing justifies murder. How about we start with the truth?
Law & Order Thursday, all new, 8/7 Central on City TV.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Francis kicks and delivers. Called strike 3, 95.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 8th inning in downtown Toronto. Thanks for tuning in today. Mariners up 8-3 on the Blue Jays. New pitcher into the game for Seattle. Trent Thornton deals home and misses high to Nathan Lucas. Ball 1. This pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Former Blue Jay Thornton offers to Lucas, who loops the ball to shallow center field. Moore sprinting back. The shortstop dives, and he can't make the play over the shoulder. It'll be a base hit for Nathan Lucas to lead off the inning.
Well, Moore's had a couple of good plays already in this ball game, and I thought he was going to make a third, going back into shallow center to try to make that play, but missed his glove by a couple of inches.
So a leadoff hit allowed by the former Blue Jay Trent Thornton, making his 11th appearance of the season. A 4 ERA, 4 earned runs in 9 innings. Top of the order, Bo Bichette is up. The pitch. Down and away, ball 1. Thornton, a 5th rounder by the Astros out of the University of North Carolina in 2015, traded to the Blue Jays in December of 2018 for Aledmus Diaz. 1-0. Hit foul off to the right, 1-1. Made 29 starts for Toronto and threw 154 in the 3rd innings in 2019. Pitched a little bit as a starter in 2020 and then transitioned to the Toronto bullpen from 2021 to 2023. 1-1. Swing and a high drive, left field, but that one is foul. Bichette absolutely pummeled it off the front facing of the 500 level. Pretty close to that foul pole. But it's a long strike, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, that was a hanging sweeper that Bo was all over.
Thornton's 1-2. Fouled off to the right.
Thornton had a pretty nice year last year. 71 ball games for the Mariners, 72 in the 3rd innings, just 63 hits, 77 strikeouts.
Yeah, he's had a lot more success for the Mariners than he did for the Blue Jays. His 1-2, lined foul to the right.
When he was starting for the Jays, I never understood why he was starting. Obviously, he had a little bit of success here and there, but he's so herky-jerky and difficult to pick up. He just looks like a reliever to me.
His 1-2. Bichette sawed off as he rolls the ball to first. Diving stop Tles. Flip back to Thornton for the out. The barrel of Bo Bichette is around third base. He lost pretty much the entire bat on the swing, and Bo is retired on a 3-1 putout. Nathan Lucas advances to second. There's one down.
Rowdy Tles is doing everything in this series. Made a couple of good picks in yesterday's ball game at first base. 3 homers, and then he steals a hit away from Bo Bichette with a diving play there.
So 1 out in the inning. 2 former Blue Jays, Tles and Thornton, combining for that one. A good time to remind you that this copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership with the Sportsnet Radio Network. 1 out, runner on second. 8-3 Mariners, bottom 8, and the pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr. Taking all the way, he takes strike 1. Guerrero and Thornton met up on the first day of this series, back behind the cage during batting practice. 0-1. High, 1 ball, 1 strike. Trent Thornton debuting in 2019, just like Vlad, just like Bo. With that young Blue Jays core that's been here for the last couple seasons. 1-1 pitch. Called a ball. Maybe a 4th or 5th pitch today that was definitely in the zone. Called a ball. I mean, it's been fairly even, but it's just another miss. It's 2-1. Thornton sets, kicks and deals. And it's outside. 3 balls, 1 strike. Pretty similar pitch to that one from Trent Thornton that Dylan Tate threw in the 7th inning that was called a ball and made a count 2-0 to Rowdy Tles instead of 1-1. 1 pitch before Tles left the yard. 3-1 to Vlad. Down and away, ball 4, and you could argue that walk in part due to that call early in the count. Vlad Guerrero heads down to first. He's on for a 4th time today.
And like we talked about when it happened, if you kind of flip that around and make that ball a strike, it really changes the at-bat, and Dylan Tate doesn't feel the urge to throw a strike there. He can really throw the ball wherever he wants and kind of change this game.
Change that. Plate appearance for Vlad as well. He's down to first, and the pitch to Anthony Santander is up and in, ball 1. Runners on first and second for the Blue Jays. 1 out. Santander 0 for 4 has a 9-game hit streak on the line. 1-0. Called strike.
Santander didn't like that call, but that was actually a pretty good pitch from Thornton. Just caught the black on the outside.
2 strikeouts, a pop fly, and a ground out for Anthony Santander. 1-1. Swing and a ground ball to second. Picked up Rivas. Flips to Moore 1. Over to first. Inning ending double play. We go to the 9th inning. The Mariners 8, the Blue Jays 3. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Celebrate the spirit of Easter on SiriusXM. Hear masses throughout the week on the Catholic Channel, including Easter Mass from Rome, New York, Los Angeles, and Washington, D.C. Embrace the promise of hope on Good Friday and Easter Sunday on Joel Osteen Radio.
You are full of resurrection power.
And celebrate the life of Jesus on the Billy Graham Channel. Plus, hear exclusive interviews, performances, and music for the occasion on the SiriusXM app. Just search Easter.
Baseball is back. It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio. channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
I'm Mike Farron. If you're like me, you love baseball. You love talking baseball with your friends, and your partner on the radio is the former general manager of the Mets.
This is Jim Duquette. Join me and Mike weekdays at 10 Eastern for Power Alley on MLB Network Radio.
It's baseball, and more baseball. 100% in-depth baseball talk.
We spent an entire week once on pulled pork recipes.
It's 95% in-depth baseball talk on Power Alley. Weekdays, 10 Eastern, MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Radio Network.
9th inning at Rogers Center. Blue Jays trailing 8-3 to the Seattle Mariners. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Thank you for tuning in today to this rubber match of the 3-game series. Mason Fluharty still on, deals to Randy Arozarena. The first pitch in there, strike one. One more inning to go in this one, barring something crazy, and then the Blue Jays head on a 7-day, 6-game road trip. 0-1. Called strike, 0-2. Blue Jays will go to Houston and then to the Bronx and take on the New York Yankees. Fluharty's 0-2. Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's a pretty tough road trip.
Yeah. Mariners are, pardon me, not the Mariners. Astros are a little up and down to start the year, but they got talent, and then Yankees are the division leaders. One-two pitch. Called a ball. Looked like it was in the zone. It's 2-2.
And Mason Fluharty actually took 3 or 4 hard steps towards third base like he thought it was strike 3 and then quickly realized that it wasn't.
I don't think the zone has been to a huge advantage or disadvantage to anyone today, but I just think there have been a lot of misses. 2-2. Swing and a towering fly ball. Left field. Backing up Lucas near the warning track, makes the catch. 1 out.
I think a lot of the misses, Ben, have been to the top part of the strike zone. It seems like his strike zone has been a little bit lower today. Which is fine, as long as it's consistent.
Yeah.
I guess. I'm sure if you ask Dylan Tate, he wouldn't agree with me.
He would disagree. 1 out, top of the 9th. Here's Mitch Garver. Fluharty offers. Garver takes strike 1. It's funny, it's been a small zone to the top, and then it's been a big zone to pitches outside to righties. That pitch was out of the zone, and it's called a strike, and that's been consistent. So like you said, I mean, it's been like that all day. Fluharty's 0-1. Hit high in the air to left field. Coming in and toward the foul line, Lucas, and that one gets out of play. Foul ball, 0-2.
Well, I'm sure John Schneider would disagree as well, because after that last call to Randy Arozarena from Mason Fluharty, John Schneider was barking at home plate umpire Andy Fletcher, letting him know exactly what he thought.
To Raleigh. Or pardon me, to Garver outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mitch Garver getting the start behind the plate today, 2 for 4. 1-2 pitch. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fluharty shaking off a sign, has what he wants, sets at the belt, and the pitch is hit foul, 2-2.
Tyler Heineman actually put his arms up like he was trying to call time before Mason Fluharty threw that pitch. It was a good pitch. It was a cutter on the inside part down in the strike zone, but I wonder why Heineman tried to call time before he threw that pitch.
I believe the clock was running down. Fluharty set and went really quickly, but you can't balk with no one on base. 2-2. Fouled right back into the netting again. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning, it'll be Andres Jimenez, George Springer, and Miles Straw to hit for the Blue Jays. The 2-2. Down and away, ball 3. Time asked for by Garver before the 3-2, and Garver will get that granted by Andy Fletcher. The 3-2. Popped up near second. Jimenez started in, backs up, makes an underhanded catch off to his left. 2 down.
It's a good pitch from Fluharty, a sweeper down and in. And Mitch Garver was way out in front of it, kind of hit it off the end of the bat. Just a little weak pop-up to Andres Jimenez at second base for the easy out.
A ton of spin on that ball. It had a weird path over to second. But Jimenez, after initially taking a step the wrong way, recovered. And now with 2 down, here's the dangerous Rowdy Tles. 3 home runs in 3 days. The pitch. Called strike.
They were 3 rockets, too. Didn't get cheated on any of those.
The 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
Stay right there. It's a good pitch.
It's a sweeper outside off the plate that he got Tles to chase. The 0-2. Check swing. Pitch was down and away. It's ball 1.
All 3 home runs have either been middle or middle in. So if I'm Fluharty, if I'm Tyler Heineman, I'm staying middle away at least.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him to chase the sweeper down and away. Fluharty with a nice outing. He retires all 4 batters he faces. And we will go to the bottom of the 9th. 5 to tie, 6 to win for the Blue Jays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Stanley Cup playoffs are here on Sportsnet.
The wait is over.
Round 1 begins with 5 Canadian teams in the hunt for Lord Stanley.
Away we go.
The Leafs take on the Senators.
Battle of Ontario.
The Capitals versus the Canadiens.
They're on their feet in Montreal.
The Jets against the Blues.
Winnipeg, this could be the year.
The Kings versus the Oilers.
Edmonton and Los Angeles rekindled a rivalry.
Watch the Stanley Cup playoffs.
It's showtime.
Only on Sportsnet. Here for the Cup.
Every season, there comes a day when we forge a passion for Blue Jays baseball that is stronger than bedrock. With thousands of villagers at Rogers Center to cheer on the Blue Jays.
And Vladdy cranks it.
Dodge the creepers and block your calendar. On Saturday, May 3rd, plan to build your collection and be one of the first 15,000 fans in the ballpark to get your Blue Jays a Minecraft movie hat giveaway. Blue Jays Minecraft Day. Lights up, let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. How about 99 right down the middle? Beats Manzardo.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Ali with you. The Blue Jays trail the Mariners 8-3 as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning here at the Rogers Center. Don't forget, we do have Jays Talk following this game. Julia Kreutz is here at the Dome, and she and I have the post-game show. We will take your calls and your texts today, and I will throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out. Blue Jays Baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. The Blue Jays trail the M's 8-3 as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning here at the Rogers Center. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. It's a pitching change for the Mariners, brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Right-hander Casey Legumina is into the game. Second appearance of the series for Legumina, who pitched a scoreless inning around a walk in yesterday's Mariners win. No runs allowed in 3 appearances for the right-hander. He stretches out his arms and steps onto the rubber with Andres Jimenez leading off. Legumina nods, steps to the left, kicks, and deals. First pitch upstairs, ball 1. Four-seam change and slider. Some call it a sweeper for Casey Legumina. 1-0. Foul tipped. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He's got a pretty good arm, a lot of life through the zone. That last one was a four-seamer, but it still has a little bit of run to it, a little bit of tail.
Misses up top with the next fastball, 2-1.
95 right there with the four-seamer.
Originally a Twins draft pick in 2019, the 2-1. Swing and a miss, 2-2. Although he was drafted in 19, Legumina did not pitch even in the minor leagues until 2021 due to Tommy John surgery plus COVID cutting off the 2020 minor league season. Two. Swing and a drive out to left center field. Rodriguez on the run, and the center fielder tracks it down. 1 out.
Legumina from Dallas, born in Dallas, went to college at Gonzaga. You don't really see many big leaguers from Gonzaga. Can you think of one off the top of your head?
I believe Jason Bay to Gonzaga.
Really?
Look it up.
I like doing things off the top of my head.
All right, well then I'll look it up because I could be lying. 1 out. Here's George Springer, 8-3 for the Mariners over the Blue Jays. The pitch inside, ball 1. One-0 pitch from Legumina, inside again, 2-0. Mariners up 8-3, and they jumped ahead early in this one. It was 6-0 after 2 innings. Next pitch to Springer, popped up. Back of first base on the right field turf. The second baseman Rivas under it makes the catch. 2 outs.
I mean, obviously Easton Lucas had a tough ball game, but there were some definite bright spots. The Blue Jays offense actually was pretty solid. They just didn't get the big hit when they needed it. And then of course Paxton Schultz, who came in and absolutely mowed down the Seattle Mariners.
Last chance for the Blue Jays, down 8-3. 2 out, spaces empty, bottom 9. The pitch to Miles Straw. Swing and a pop-up. First base side foul. Tles on the side warning track, reaches out, and he made the catch to win the game and win the series for the Mariners. Tumbling into the netting, a nice play by Rowdy Tles, who was the star of this series as the Mariners come back after losing the first game and take the series 2-1.
Well, like you said, Rowdy Tles, 3 home runs in this series, a huge 2-run home run to put the game away today. Made a nice play earlier on and then ends the ball game kind of reaching into the stands for that pop-up. What a series for Rowdy Tles.
8-3, the final score in favor of the Mariners. We're going to take a step aside. Then we'll come back, wrap this one up, and get you over to Blue Jays Talk. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
10 Ks today for Kevin Gausman in 7 scoreless innings.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. The Blue Jays fell today to the Seattle Mariners 8-3, with Seattle taking the series on the road. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. We will get you over to Blue Jays talk momentarily, but Chris, we'll start with the ups and downs of the pitching. Let's first start with Easton Lucas, who had 2 really good starts to begin his Major League career as a starter, then had the rough one in his last outing against Atlanta. Came out today looking to correct that, and it was a struggle for him. Didn't get out of the second.
Yeah, well, I said before the broadcast, the key to success for Easton Lucas is really commanding that fastball, and he just didn't do that today. He fell behind a couple of guys in that first inning, gave up a home run to Dylan Moore, and then he gave up a big home run to Cal Raleigh. But I think that's going to be the key for him going forward, is just you have to command the fastball. You have to get ahead. We saw that with Paxton Schultz today coming out of the bullpen. He really pounded the strike zone, got ahead of almost every single hitter he faced. I think he was 10 out of 12 first pitch strikes, which is incredible for a Major League debut. It's incredible for any outing, but Easton Lucas needs to look at that outing and think, that's what I need to do. I need to pound the strike zone with my fastball, get ahead with the fastball, and then you can mix in the changeup, the sweeper, the slider, all that good stuff. That's really going to be the key for him going forward.
You already mentioned it. Paxton Schultz, great today. 4 1/3, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts. Congratulations to him on a very exciting Major League debut. You flip around the offensive side for the Blue Jays. They come up with 11 hits, but no home runs for Toronto, so a homerless series against the Mariners. The Blue Jays had 4 doubles in the game, but most of them coming when no one was on base. They haven't found a way to hit that big homer, or when they get the hits with runners in scoring position, it's been a lot of singles so far. They haven't really had those big innings.
Yeah, I mean, Bo Bichette has been really seeing the ball well, hitting the ball hard, squaring it up. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. looks really good right now. They're just not getting any loft underneath the baseball. Eventually, that will come. Vlad will start hitting home runs. Bo will start hitting home runs. Anthony Santander seems a little bit lost currently. I know that he's the guy that starts slow for the majority of his career, but eventually he'll start to get going as well. I still have a lot of confidence in this offense that eventually they're going to start slugging. They're going to start hitting home runs, especially with the way Vlad and Bo are swinging it right now.
Blue Jays end up falling in this one 8-3. The final score. The Mariners with 8 runs on 12 hits, no errors. They leave 7 on base. For the Blue Jays, 3 runs on 11 hits, 1 error, 12 left on base. The win today goes to Luis Castillo. He's 2-2 on the year. The loss to Easton Lucas, he is also 2-2 on the year. No save in a game that took 2 hours and 56 minutes in front of 25,752 on an Easter Sunday in Toronto. With the Blue Jays loss, they're now 12-10. Same record for the Mariners after the win, 12-10. And for the Blue Jays, their first series loss since you go back to that New York Mets series when they got swept about a week and a half ago. So the Blue Jays fall in this one, but they'll be back in action tomorrow, 8:10 Eastern, 7:10 local at Dakin Park tomorrow. Kevin Gausman and Hunter Brown will duel in the first of 3 between the Blue Jays and the Houston Astros. We'll have coverage on the Sportsnet Radio Network with the great Eric Smith filling in for myself as I hop over to the television side. So we hope that you can join us then and appreciate you tuning in today. For Tom Young and Austin Mackey, our technical directors, Nick Blackmore, our producer, and Show Ali, our host. Also, my partner, Chris LaRue. I'm Ben Schulman. Hope you have a great rest of your day and a nice holiday weekend. And stick around. Blue Jays Talk with Show Ali and Julia Kreutz starts right now.
Well, Jules, another tough one for the Blue Jays. Very close to winning this series yesterday in the 9th, 10th, and 11th. Today, things get away from them as early as the 3rd pitch of the ball game. Oh, boy. And instead of a series win, series loss for the Jays following an 8-3 defeat today at the hands of the Mariners.
Yeah, when you put it like that, all it took was really the 3rd pitch, and you kind of could see how this one was going to go. Tough one for Easton Lucas again. A ton of issues commanding those pitches there. And, not a ton of positives again for the offense here, Show, and kind of running out of things to say. I'm afraid I'm going to start getting repetitive here. It's been a problem.
Maybe we can just replay a bunch of Jays talks we've already done. Honestly, I think that it'll probably serve this. Just combine yesterday's Jays talk with the one I did for Easton Lucas's last start.
There you go.
Which was last Monday, I want to say, and then we're good. I think. Right? You'll get all the same notes.
Struggle with home runs, rowdy Tles, and the offense falls short, and it's pretty much the story that we've kind of seen before, which I can imagine it gets frustrating for fans. It's watching this one, I was certainly hoping for something. There were so many instances in which the bases were loaded, and it seemed like the Blue Jays were actually cooking, and there was something good that was about to happen and just fall short every single time. So tough way to lose a series, and another very, very tough one coming up against the Houston Astros here.
You're listening to Jays Talk. Show Ali, Julia Kreutz here with you. We're live on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're also streaming on sportsnet.ca and on the Sportsnet app. You can give us a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. You can text us as well, 590-590, name and location. The People's Text line is always open. Standard messaging and data rates may apply. You know what? Let's get the Easton Lucas discussion out of the way, because I think that I'm not sure there's a lot to say on Lucas. I mean, it was. You know what? It was a fun experiment while it lasted. I'll say that. We'll always have those two Easton Lucas starts to remember. Yep. But boy, I mean, like, third pitch, like I said, Jules, he leaves an 80-mile-an-hour sweeper right over the middle of the plate. Dylan Moore does not miss. Julio Rodriguez, the very next batter, smashes one of the hardest hit doubles you'll see in the whole series off the wall, and then Cal Raleigh just destroys a slider right down the middle. I mean, none of them were located particularly well. None of them were thrown particularly hard.
That's right.
So it's not, there wasn't a lot of positives, if any positives, because I think maybe there was a possibility had he gone a little deeper, you could have said, all right, well, he saved the bullpen a little bit. Didn't even get that. He only got 1 2/3. I mean, I talked about this after his last start, but he let in that start and in this start, he let the first batter of the inning, and I mean, he only started 2 innings in this game, but he let them both get aboard, and that generally does not, when you let a leadoff batter get on base in some way, shape, or form, and I mean, Dylan Moore got on base in the form of a home run, but that generally speaking does not work out for you, right? And then he walked Ben Williamson to start the second inning, and then doesn't get out of the second after letting in a few more runs. I don't know what happens with Lucas, but gosh, I got to imagine the leash for a spot starter like him. And we can talk about some of the options that could be in play outside of Lucas, but I got to imagine the leash is pretty short.
Yeah, that seems to be the overall sentiment, Show, when you look at the way that the last start went, and then this one, just even how short it ended up being. It does seem like the experiment may be over. Obviously, we're not going to be sure of that until we actually hear from the manager, until we actually see the probables for the next couple of series and things along those lines. But you're right, Show, when this is a guy who's coming up from AAA to sort of pitch in place of someone who's hurt and a big name at that, and Max Scherzer, you have to imagine that there isn't a ton of margin for starts like this. And when the Blue Jays are struggling to score runs in the way that they are right now, obviously the pitching matters all the more. And we've seen tremendous pitching performances by this club. There's a reason why the Blue Jays are 12-10 and second in the AL East, and that's in large part because of pitching, and that includes Easton Lucas. But the book is out. There's video now. There is more information on a guy who was relatively unknown prior to this. Gets some success, and teams are going to start to make adjustments. Obviously, there wasn't much adjustment necessary in this one. When you just look at the location on those home runs, the fact that it was breaking balls, it just straight down the middle there, and good hitters are not going to miss that. And you and I spoke pregame about what is it that Lucas kind of had to do to right the ship a little bit. And I mentioned, listen, let them beat you. Don't give them, easy hits, easy homers, easy balls to drive. And that ended up being pretty much exactly what happened in through 1 2/3 here for Easton Lucas. Silver lining, Paxton Schultz. Has to be, right?
Absolutely. I mean, he's probably the only real positive story to come out of this game.
I would agree.
But hey, I mean, it is a really positive story. I mean, I'll give the guy all the credit in the world. I mean, 1 2/3 from Lucas, you kind of think to yourself, gosh, like this bullpen that just put Sandlin on the IL. I mean, what are they going to do here, right? Yeah. How much can you really expect from either Dylan Tate or Paxton Schultz? And Schultz, my goodness. I mean, he comes in here, gets the K on the first batter on his way to 8 strikeouts in relief, which actually ties a major league record for the most strikeouts by a reliever in his major league debut. Yeah. That is incredible.
It is. It is incredible. And I don't know. I got the feeling that Paxton Schultz was a man pitching like he had nothing to lose, right? Just really locating that fastball and that cutter, missing bats left, right, and center. I believe it was Chris Black on Twitter who had a stat through 4 appearances rather in the minors this season. Paxton Schultz has had 15 whiffs. Today, he had 17, which is just unbelievable. So it really shows you that he was really locating those pitches. There was some velocity to the fastball here and there that kind of puzzled Mariners hitters a little bit. And again, it is kind of a similar story to Easton Lucas, perhaps, in that this is an unknown guy that you're calling up from AAA today. Not a ton of video, not a ton of preparation or game planning, and he just comes in. But the difference was really that Schultz was pitching extremely effectively here, staying in the zone, throwing strikes, and locating those pitches extremely well. And that is the real positive here, Show, because again, this bullpen has been taxed. We have seen how much these guys have had to pitch, and we were looking at another one of those today. But because of Schultz, that didn't happen. Now, he deserved better, I believe, on the other end of the ball. He deserved some run support just from what he was able to do. Didn't walk anyone. I think it was 2 or 3 hits that he allowed here. So
2 hits.
Incredible stuff to save the bullpen and to put the Blue Jays in a little bit of a better position ahead of a very tough series on the road against the Astros.
Yeah, he went 4 1/3. He allowed 2 hits, no runs, no walks. He had 8 strikeouts against 16 batters faced. Here's actually a pretty incredible stat. He threw 64 pitches, 50 of them were strikes. I mean, that is incredible.
That is really good.
He was just filling up that zone. Now, I do think to like a certain extent, because there's no scouting reports on him video-wise for the opposing team. So they really were like, I don't want to say swinging blindly, but it's like the first time any of these guys, even on the iPads in the dugout, are really seeing anything from Paxton Schultz. Having said that, it cuts both ways because he probably hadn't seen very many, if any, scouting reports. Like this time yesterday, or maybe not this time, but like before first pitch, at 1:00 p.m. yesterday, he was probably reviewing scouting reports for AAA batters, not for like Cal Raleigh and Randy Arozarena and Julio Rodriguez. So, I think it is a bit of give and take there when it comes to who's benefiting more, and batters or pitchers. But undeniable that he looked great. You said it with all the pitches. I thought the change looked good as well. I mean, you want to see him do it more consistently, certainly, but I think there is something to work with there going forward, at least as far as trying to find bullpen solution goes. I mean, Swanson and Burr not coming back in the next week, probably. Sandlin still on the IL. And Schneider seemed to make it sound like Sandlin's not going to be on the IL for that long. Having said that, you never really know. Right lat strain for Sandlin, landing him on the 15-day IL earlier today. So we'll see. I do kind of wonder, just from a procedural standpoint, I mean, he threw 64 pitches today. Yeah. I kind of wonder if he goes back down, like if he gets sent back down, knowing that he's probably not going to pitch over the Houston series. There's an off day on Thursday, and then whatever the I forget what the minimum time is when you get sent down, but he sees the minimum time down and then gets called back up. I kind of wonder if you see some of the procedural moves being made when it comes to what Schultz's place on the roster looks like. Even though obviously after today, he absolutely deserves to stay on the major league roster, no doubt.
Yeah, that's an interesting, I guess, theory when you start to think about what the Blue Jays need out of this bullpen and what the Blue Jays need just in general out of its pitching to make through this road trip and back. But yeah, there's very little argument here that with this specific outing, Schultz has done enough to at least warrant a second look in the big leagues here. Just tremendous stuff. I don't necessarily anticipate that we're going to see him throw as many pitches next time out, or even, when it comes to effectiveness and whatnot. You do this once, teams start to pay attention to you, so we'll see how hitters adjust to Schultz as well. But what a way to start a big league career show.
That's got to feel so good.
It's got to feel good.
416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Mike in Owen Sound. Mike, what's up? Welcome to J-Stock.
Hey.
Mike, I got you there?
I'm here.
There you go. Go ahead.
So, first of all, I'm going to establish a couple of salient points here. I'm 65. I've been around a long time, watched the game. I am not a professional. I cannot appreciate the fact of what these guys do, but I watch. And I texted the last couple of days and said, the downfall of the Jays this season was yesterday's loss. Not at the end of the game, but in the early innings, when they didn't take advantage of their opportunities. And this is a structural problem that the Jays have had for the last 5-6 years. They cannot execute.
Hey, yeah, Mike, appreciate the call. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of texts like that on the text line, too. There's one from Jay in Regina, which actually makes me laugh. Jay says, this show should be called Blue Jays Lack of Offense Talk. That's all we've been talking about the last 3 years on this show. I mean, you're not wrong, Jay. And I mean, Mike from Owen Sound is not wrong either. I mean, there's one here from Jay in Coquitlam in BC. I actually kind of like this analogy to everyone's point. If this Blue Jays team was a boxer, he would have great defense and only throw jabs with no power punch. We try to win by a judge's decision each night. That's a pretty apt analogy.
That's very good. Yeah,
I like that one. I haven't heard that one before.
And that one uses sort of an analogy that David Popkins, the Blue Jays hitting coach, has put forth.
The boxing analogy.
Yes, that's right. Jay Davidi writing about it recently. And the idea for the Blue Jays is to mix and match a little bit more than what we're seeing. It just hasn't worked out that way. And you look at 5 for 21 with runners in scoring position, 12 runners left on base. That just won't cut it. It won't cut it against a winning team like the Mariners, and it just won't cut it if you want to be serious about being a playoff team.
Yeah, the offense not being able to drive in runs in important situations yet again is just incredibly frustrating, right? I don't blame anyone for being frustrated because, I mean, look, in the second inning, Luis Castillo, who, by the way, like just in a general sense, has not been the same guy who shoved here in the playoffs a couple of years ago. Like this year, even before this outing, you go back, look at his last outing. I think he played against the Reds the last time out, and his former team, and they really got him. Yeah. So I'm not sure if it's just age, honestly, because he's getting a little older, but the stuff in terms of velo and command has dipped a little bit with Castillo, and you saw that today, right? I mean, the Blue Jays got 10 hits off Luis Castillo. I mean, the second inning, they get the bases loaded, I think just one out after scoring a few runs already against him, but that's all they get. I mean, the point is, too, it's not that they can't get on base. It's driving in runs and it's scoring with power, right?
Yeah.
I mean, here's a fun but really not so fun stat. After Cal Raleigh hit the home run off Lucas in the first inning, that's his 9th home run on the season. The Blue Jays, as a team, have 12 combined home runs after, 22 games? Like, Rowdy Tles this weekend, Jules, has as many home runs as Bo, Vladdy, and Santander combined all season. Like, good God, Lemon.
Yeah, it's not looking good. And listen, you can look at that second inning with the bases loaded. I believe it was Andres Jimenez at the plate when Randy Arozarena made that spectacular sliding catch right there to save some runs. And maybe this game looks a lot different if that ball actually finds the turf. But before that, in Jimenez's at bat, we saw him just look at 2 sliders that landed in the zone. Before him, Anthony Santander just stared at a couple of sliders that landed in the zone. And so when you're talking about the heart of your lineup, the run-producing part of this lineup, and they're really just letting go and just watching really, really good pitches to drive and hit, it causes you to wonder. I understand that Luis Castillo is still a very good pitcher, and a lot of his pitches may look very similar coming out of the hand, but we're not talking about 1 or 2. We're talking about a sequence of pitches. There were good pitches to hit, and there were just not. The Blue Jays couldn't do anything with it. And again, we are talking about your number 3 and your number 4 hitters. So that's just not a formula for winning baseball. It was obviously bad luck that Rosarena made that catch and kind of ended the threat right there. But that was far from the only opportunity show. And what we're seeing is repeatedly this inability to cash in on opportunities.
Leslie in Calgary said, best player today, Easter Sunday, was the new kid on the mound, Schultz. Congrats to him, though he probably gets paid the least of any players there. Shame on the other high-paid, experienced ones. He probably does. I think that, I want to say your salary is like prorated from when you, in terms of like, even if you get sent back down and you don't spend the whole season up in the majors, I think your salary, like in terms of what you get prorated in the sense of how much you play in the majors versus how much you play in the minors. But so it's definitely positive for Schultz, and you hope he stays up for as long as humanly possible, because probably makes more money. Let's see, there's another one here from Max in East York. What is wrong with Santander? 100 at bats is enough. Hit him 5th. Give him a position with less pressure. Josh from Brampton on the text line. The lack of security in getting big hits will tax the bullpen pitching rotation. I feel that one day this season it'll all come crashing down unless someone 1 through 9 picks up the slack. Is it too much to ask for just one guy to hit a bomb every now and again? And you know what? It's true. I mean, all I am asking for, I'm not even asking for them to just suddenly hit a bomb every 3 ABs. It's not what I'm asking for, right? That would be nice, though.
Yeah.
But that's not what I'm even asking for. I don't even think that's what fans are asking for. I think you're like they're right now at the bottom of the league in most categories when it comes to power, right? Yeah. When it comes to specifically home runs.
For sure.
I think all people are asking for is like a middle of the pack offense when it comes to home runs. And I mean, for me even, I'm just asking for, with runners in scoring positions and less than 2 outs, for the team to swing the bat and score more than 1 run on occasion. I think that's all I'm really asking for. I feel like you could probably, this is not an empirical statement, but I feel like you can probably count on one hand, definitely 2 hands, the amount of times that they've swung the bat and they've scored more than 1 run, essentially.
Right. Yeah, and listen, this is something that, the season is not that young anymore, right? At a certain point, you need to look at what's happening, and as much as I also enjoy and think there is value in talking about process and in how, the at-bats are improving and there is hard contact, at a certain point, you actually need the results. Something that stood out to me that John Schneider spoke about today pregame when he met with media on a Sunday, which is rare to talk about the roster moves and things of those lines, is, Nick Sandlin, he mentioned that in addition to the workload that Nick Sandlin has actually seen on the mound, there have also been a lot of situations in which he is called upon in the bullpen, he warms up, he's throwing pitches, and he doesn't come into the game. And that's also a reflection of a lot of close games when you're having to warm up your high leverage guys sometimes multiple times in the same game, even if they don't come in. That is also taxing for them. And that is the clear reflex of a lot of close games and low-scoring games for the Blue Jays. So it kind of has a ripple effect. Everything is connected in many ways, Show. And, yeah, this offense has got to find a way to put the ball in the air with a little bit more consistency. We saw that yesterday, too. Several chances to win the game. All you need to do is put the ball in the air, unable to do it in extra innings. So, yeah, for all the talk about process and for all the talk about improvements and underlying numbers and all of that, there comes a time when you need to look in the mirror and figure out why it is that the process is not actually translating into big hits and big moments and wins on the board.
Janet in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia saying, excuse me, the bullpen is taxed. Sorry, this is the start of the season. These are well-paid athletes. No more excuses, please. And I think too, a lot of and I think it's a valid point to have, but I also believe that for me, it's less about saying that it's an excuse that these guys are being used too much and more that it's just unsustainable. I think for any team, no matter how good your bullpen is, no matter how elite these athletes are, I truly believe it's just unsustainable to ask and someone had gotten to this already on the text line, but just unsustainable to ask your starting rotation, but also your bullpen to walk a line where you have to hold it within a couple of runs every single game, right? Because even if, I don't think anyone expects the bullpen to never give up a run for the rest of time. That's just not going to happen, right? But if you have a little bit more of a wiggle room, they can still pitch a lot of the starting rotation members have said this. They could pitch maybe some more less quote-unquote stressful innings. And so far, it feels like literally every inning the bullpen has pitched this season has been a stressful inning. I think that's what it boils down to me. Not that it's necessarily like an excuse these guys aren't ready to go, but more just that at some point the dam will break.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that we are here on April 20th.
Yeah, and what we're talking about is the difference between bringing out a Chad Green, a Brandon Little, a Jimmy Garcia, even a Nick Sandlin at times, and bringing out Mason Fluharty or a Jacob Barnes or a Dylan Tate, right? These are guys that pitch in very different leverage spots. And the guys that have pitched a lot are the high leverage guys. And that is what we're talking about here. So you put some crooked numbers on the board, you allow the manager and the coaching staff to utilize those arms in the bullpen in a little bit of a more flexible way so that you are not going, so you don't have to go to the same guys every single day. And that is, we have seen Jimmy Garcia pitch a lot. We have seen Brandon Little pitch a lot. So Trevor Hoffman for sure. So
Jeff Hoffman.
Jeff Hoffman. What did I say? Trevor Hoffman. Oh God! You know what? I was waiting for the time when I would make that mistake, and it's fitting.
I said Miguel Vargas a number of times yesterday, so I totally get it. Don't worry.
Oh man, I can't believe it finally happened. Well, we got that out of the way, and now we can continue. But so just to finish up the point about the pen, that is basically what we're talking about when we say that these guys have been pitching a lot. Absolutely, they're ready whenever their number is called, but it would be better for the Blue Jays not to have to call upon them as much as they have, especially when you're talking about extra innings. And, there's just been so many close games that's just what happens to your pen.
Let's hear a little bit from the manager, John Schneider, discussing this very point in terms of off days, taking away off days from a variety of players. Here's the skipper in his postgame availability.
I think it's like we've been talking about relievers, how they get up and get in, get up, don't get in. I think you want to kind of keep everything moving in the right direction, especially with starters. They're kind of creatures of habit. And if you don't foresee it being a long-term thing, you kind of want to keep them on schedule. So is there a way to do it with, maneuvering it? Yeah, for sure. And I think what we've done a really good job is being in touch with those guys and those guys being honest with us. So it's early, and we're going to need more than just 5 starters. That's just how the game works. So I don't really know the pros and cons right now. I think a lot of it goes into conversations with the guys, with myself, with Pete, with the medical staff, and you kind of make the best decision.
And that's John Schneider talking to the media again about kind of what we're talking about, like the idea of off days and how you juggle the starting rotation, the bullpen certainly as well. By the way, Jules, I was thinking too, we talked about Paxton Schultz earlier, who was the lone bright spot from this loss, but whatever happens with him, whatever happens with Easton Lucas, I will say, there are a number of ways you can go as well before we hit the break here. Yeah. You could go to Jake Bloss if you really want to. He had a much better start in Buffalo today. I was monitoring that game for the out-of-town scoreboard. He went 4 2/3. He allowed 6 hits, 2 runs, neither of which were earned. No walks, 7 strikeouts. He threw 91 pitches, but at the same time, he had not had a very good start to his season, just period. So I wonder if they shy away from wanting him to be called up right away. Right. Maybe you try and get him a couple more good starts in the minors before you bring him up to the majors. You could, if they don't send Schultz down, they want to keep him on the roster, even though he threw 64 pitches today. Maybe he opens for Yariel Rodriguez, maybe the next spot through the rotation. You could also just, because there are a couple off days, you could kick this decision down the road a little bit. There's an off day on Thursday, which is the 24th, and then there's another off day on the other side of the weekend, which is the Monday, April 29th. You could just, for this coming series, I think the order is Gausman, Bassett, Francis for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There's an off day on Thursday, and then you could just roll Barrios on regular rest and skip the turn in the rotation. You could do a variety of things when it comes to finding a creative solution here.
Yeah, and listen, maybe Jose Barrios is the guy that you want to do that with. Maybe he is the guy that you want to have on the mound on regular rest, and under difficult circumstances, he has been the model of consistency for this rotation. I know he's run into trouble a little bit this season, but you can count on Jose Barrios to be ready to pitch every 5 days, and if the Blue Jays need him to do that, this is also a guy who has shown up many times before in unpredictable situations. So I don't see why not. There are some different things that you could do here, Show. The Blue Jays have some flexibility because they have these off days coming in. I would be pretty surprised if they brought up Jake Bloss for the next start, just because it seems like they do want to give him a little bit of an extended look. There were so many issues with weather and things along those lines to start the season in Buffalo, and now that he found his groove, I believe that the Blue Jays will want to see a little bit more of that before we see him in the majors, because we also have to remember that this goes beyond this season. What the Blue Jays are building with a guy like Bloss, a top prospect, someone who is, viewed as a part of the future, it's not just about the month of April. It's not just about this season. So we'll see what the decision is here. I could be very, very wrong, but I would assume that the Blue Jays will want to give Bloss at least a couple more starts in AAA, make sure that he's settled in, and then there's a possibility we'll see him in the major leagues.
416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Those are the numbers to call. We're here for another 20 minutes or so. You can keep texting us, 590-590, name and location. We'll get to more of your calls, more of your texts on the other side. The Blue Jays dropped the series to the Seattle Mariners following an 8-3 loss in the rubber match. Today, they will play the Houston Astros for the first of 3 at Minute Maid Park starting tomorrow. That is Julia Kreutz. I'm Show Ali. Let's take that break, Jules, and come back with more of your calls, more of your texts, and we'll check in on the Bet365 standings update as well. You're listening to Blue Jays Talk on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ Home Hardware and Building Center locations, where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Barry, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at armstrongbirdfood.com.
Prime Minister Stephen Harper.
I led Canada through the global financial crisis. Today, we also face big challenges. The 2 men running to lead us both once worked for me, and my choice unequivocally is Pierre Poilievre. Only Pierre is putting forward an actual plan to make life affordable, make our streets safer, and put us in a strong position in dealing with the U.S. Only Pierre will bring change. Please join with me in voting Conservative.
Authorized by the Chief Agent of the Conservative Party of Canada.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
The Stanley Cup playoffs are here on Sportsnet. The wait is over. Round 1 begins with 5 Canadian teams in the hunt for Lord Stanley.
Away we go.
The Leafs take on the Senators.
Battle of Ontario.
The Capitals versus the Canadiens.
They're on their feet in Montreal.
The Jets against the Blues.
Winnipeg, this could be the year.
The Kings versus the Oilers.
Edmonton and Los Angeles rekindled a rivalry.
Watch the Stanley Cup playoffs.
It's showtime.
Only on Sportsnet. Here for the Cup.
Drywall, an essential part of many, many projects. It's important to get it right and start with quality materials. Essentials you'll always find competitively priced at Timber Mart, like CGC, a recognized giant in the drywall industry for over 100 years and leading Canadian manufacturer of gypsum drywall. Well established and reputable, building pros and contractors know CGC, and you get exactly what the best builders trust. That's as sexy as drywall gets. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
Hey, this is Chris Bassett. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Wow. For a guy that came up here in a car this morning and signed his contract, and I mean, that was amazing. We've seen him pitch a couple times, obviously, but he executed really well. About his stuff. Saved our bullpen for one. I mean, and those games are tough because we're a little bit thin, and you want to try to get as much out of Easton, and he really picked us up. But I think all of his pitches were working. Kind of sneaky with everything, and that's a day he's going to remember for a long time. That was pretty impressive.
A very impressive Major League debut for Paxton Schultz. 4 1/3, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts against a 16 batters faced. He was phenomenal today. That's John Schneider talking about Paxton Schultz. As we welcome you back to Jays Talk here on the Sportsnet Radio Network. Joe and Julia here with you for another couple minutes. Jules, it's funny, I do the out-of-town scoreboard a lot, and we're going to check in on the Bet365 standings update in a sec here, but I do the out-of-town scoreboard during the games, and so I look at a variety of different things. I feel like over the last couple of years, I have seen P. Schultz in the Bison's box scores all up and down there.
Right.
And it's pretty cool to see his name in the Major League box score with 8 strikeouts and no runs, period. That's very impressive.
Yeah, you look at what he's done with AAA too this year, Show. It looks like a guy who maybe put some things together here. Pretty interesting to think that he was just a player to be named later in a random trade with the Brewers in 2021 that sent Derek Fisher to Milwaukee. Not the flashy prospect, not the guy that, people are checking the stats to see when he is going to be up or anything like that. But you look at what he's done with AAA. First of all, pitching multiple innings on more than one occasion and missing a ton of bats and actually putting together some strikeouts here and some good innings, which is obviously refreshing to see. And more than that, it's now playing a big factor in what we're seeing at the major league level. So it's those unexpected guys. It's those surprises that really make a season and a winning season at that. Now, if the Blue Jays can find some more surprises on the other side of the ball, then they should probably be in a very good position. But you look at Easton Lucas and what he gave them for the first 2 times he started here, and now you look at Schultz and what he was able to do today. You keep finding those little nuggets of positivity, even though you are down a guy like Max Scherzer or something along those lines. That is when you put yourself in a good position.
Time now for the Bet365 standings update. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball